I'm coming for them belts, boy. You gonna see the raft of the new champ. Different energy, different spirit. Coming to win. I tried to learn boxing, stick and move. Isolating the sweet science of the sport, doctrinating my style. But we're going back to the raw, rugged streets. That's where I belong. I never followed no athletes growing up, no movie stars. I followed the hustlers, the Rayful Edmonds, the Jeff Ports, the Nicky Barnes, the Big Meaches, the Larry Hoovers. You understand me? They're the people that gave me that inspiration, the ones that came up from the streets to the top of the world, the empires, the bangers, the hustlers.
I think you were talking about the pandemic there. Have you changed, you think, as a boxer or as a person during it?
100%. Like, when I first started boxing, my whole world just flipped on its head. Like, I had to really step my game up and adapt to this new environment. And then, so imagine I'm upside down now and the whole world's moving at 100 miles an hour. So it's a bit of a whirlwind. And then with a pandemic, the whole world flipped on its head, which gave me a chance to now look up again. So I flipped on my head when I first started boxing. Then during the pandemic, where the world's flipped on its head, it's allowed me to resurface again. And I feel like in life, you always need to reset sometimes and go back to what the true meaning of what you're doing is, why you're doing it, reset with who you are, what your values are, and the pandemic's helped me do all that.
Like that, of course, you outboxed the fucking best boxer in the world for rounds. You beat him at his own game. Your game plan was perfect. It's perfect. He nicked it just at the end. But he nicked it at the end. He was stopping around. That's all it was. But that fight up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was outboxing the best boxer in the world. Your stock rose, mate. You were rose. Like you come out of that with victory, mate. Like honestly, you know, if there was any doubters out there now, bro, there's fucking none now at all.
I don't need to save money. I want to put on good fights. So that was a good fight for the zone. So I'm disappointed. But what is the point in signing up for drug testing if when you fail, everyone just goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just let him fight." You know? Yeah. So and the argument of, well, it's all right with UKAD is totally irrelevant. You've signed drug testing with VADA, the best testing agency, in my opinion, in the sport.
What we got here? The throwback lumberjack workout. AJ chopping the wooden block. What? Oh God. He's just created the modern boxing equivalent of Excalibur. Forget sword in the stone. We've got the axe in the log. AJ. What we got here?
Got people on my phone that I haven't spoke to for 10 years. If I rang them up and said, look, there's 5 blokes outside my front door, can you come and help me? They'd be here. You know, so I've got plenty of people that would help me. Right, if I was on the phone to the local Chinese, it'd be egg fried rice, special fried rice, large, plain chow mein, shredded chicken chow mein, large, salt and chili king prawn, salt and chili chicken, kung po prawn, sweet and sour chicken balls, sweet and sour pork balls, shredded chili beef, beef in black bean sauce, mini pancake rolls, large pancake roll, curry sauce, 2 portions of prawn crackers. Bosh.
Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening. Should turn myself down in the background. At least I know my mic's not muted for a change. Yeah. Welcome. I didn't want to go live, but you know what it is? I thought, fuck it. We might as well just knock out a quick one. Not the first time or the last time I'll say that, but we might as well knock out a quick one while we're here, innit? We've got Savannah Marshall coming to the ring, yeah, oh yeah, I forgot she's not defending any more titles, innit? Because Clarissa Shields took them all. But Savannah Marshall there, coming to the ring, yeah, accompanied by Peter Fury. If you haven't followed Peter Fury on Twitter and you're into philosophy, I can assure you that Peter Fury is one of the very, very best philosophers in the game, particularly after a few bottles of Echo Falls. So if you're very much into philosophies, yeah, on the state of this country and where this country is going, Peter Fury is very, very good value, yeah, after a few glasses of the old vino, shall we say. I'm surprised he's still got a Twitter account. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Savannah Marshall on the way to the ring. I'm interested in this fight, to be honest with you. I'm not really, but in the name of equality, we have to pretend to be interested in both these sports in boxing. So, like I said before, we'll cover this fight. We'll see what's going on. I mean, hopefully, and I mean this, no disrespect to Savannah Marshall, but I'm hoping this is the last time that we have to see Savannah Marshall in the boxing ring, to be honest with you, after that performance that she put in against Clarissa Shields, talking like she was a bona fide killer. What was she going to do? She was going to knock Shields out. She was going to put Shields to sleep. She was going to do this and do that. My gosh, Clarissa Shields came up in that first round and absolutely lit her up, man. Lit up Savannah Marshall like a blunt, man, in that first round, and never looked back ever since, never looked back since. But hopefully this is the last time, we see Savannah Marshall in the boxing ring. No disrespect, but she needs to now go away and think about starting a family with Hughie Fury, who we'll be talking about on AJ Watch, probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. He rips into complete stiff Anthony Joshua, and he believes that he is the man to come back on knockout Anthony Joshua. If you believe that Hughie Fury is the man to knock out Anthony Joshua, feel free to press 1 in the chat right now. Listen, I think Hughie on his day is absolutely unbeatable. But like I said before, things in that Peter Fury camp, with all respect, ain't adding up, innit? Some of the comments that are coming out of this Peter Fury camp, Peter Fury makes all kinds of comments on Twitter after a drink. You've got Hughie Fury, coming out, all of a sudden and telling people he's the one to knock out Anthony Joshua. Look. I think we need drug testing in the Peter Fury gym ASAP. Drug testing, and I'm not talking for performance enhancing drugs either. I think we need some drug testing for pure Colombian crack cocaine. But that's just me. It is what it is. Right. So we have a fight on. I don't know how many people are going to get tonight. The target tonight is to beat 54. That's my target, because 54 was the number of people who watched Savannah Marshall versus Franchon, what's her name? Versus Franchon Cruz on their press conference on TalkSport. So I'll show you that in a minute. So if you look at Marshall, who's coming out to fireworks, why the fuck is Savannah Marshall coming out to fireworks? For what? Can somebody tell me that? Why is Shido coming out to fireworks? For what? All you've ever done in the sport of boxing is get lit up by Clarissa Shields. Why are you coming out to fireworks for? Listen, don't let Hughie or Peter Fury hear this, but I'm sorry, man. Listen, it's bad enough as it is I have to cover this shit. What's going on here? They got Savannah Marshall coming out to pyrotechnics. For what? What are you coming out to pyrotechnics for? Hughie Fury, in breaking news, he's managed to find a shirt which matches his trousers. So maybe Hughie Fury is the man to knock out Anthony Joshua, and maybe he has turned a new leaf in the sport of boxing. Hughie Fury not wearing one of those ghastly fake Versace shirts in the ring tonight. He's actually got a shirt which matches his trousers. So listen, maybe there is a new leaf that has been turned over, down in that gym. Maybe these are a set of boxers to take seriously. But anyway, for those of you who care, Savannah Marshall's come out to the ring, fireworks everywhere. Listen, fucking hell. Not sure about fireworks, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, since she's won one of them WBO belts or whatever she's worn, I will go down to the off license and get some sprinklers or some fireworks for her, to be honest with you. From the offie, obviously, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's it. That's about as much expense as I would spare if I was the promoter of Savannah Marshall. If she said to me, look, Ultra, I want to come out, I used to be a champion, I want to come out to fireworks, I'm not going to lie to you, I'll go to Londis. I will go to Londis, I'll go to the top shelf, next to Razzler, Playboy, and Big Hooters, and I'll probably pull out a quick box of fireworks and that. But that's as far as we would go with Savannah Marshall. Franchon Cruz, who you talk about about Clarissa Shields having the worst weave in boxing. You talk about Clarissa Shields having the worst weave in boxing. Jesus, I have never in all of my lifetime seen a weave like this, which I'm going to try and get up on the screen for you. But I have to tell you right now, I hate to tell you, without any disrespect, to this lady who would knock me out stone cold, this is without any question the worst weave I've ever seen, on a female in my entire life. I have to tell you, we give Clarissa Shields a lot of stick, for this hairpiece, but this one here up on the screen, I'm here to tell you today, This tops the lot, innit? This tops the lot, man. This tops the lot. What was it that Elephant Man said? I've seen enough weave before, but I've never seen a weave like this. I've seen enough weave before, but I never come top than this. I've never seen a weave like that, you know. I've seen enough weave before, but I never seen a weave like this. Oh, Jesus Christ. She is now coming to the ring to get in the ring with Savannah Marshall. It is what it is. Coming out with the Kanye West shades. We will be talking about things going on in the heavyweight boxing. We will. I just want to catch the beginning of this fight before we start talking about who is holding up here the heavyweight division, and we'll talk about some other stuff as well. Some of the news that we haven't covered in the last week or so. There's not really much going on in the sport of boxing, is there? So it is what it is. So we'll have Savannah Marshall versus Cruz yeah, in the background. We've got Clarissa Shields. I have to say, I don't know what you guys think, yeah? I'm going to get you the picture. But Clarissa Shields at the minute, hey, looking the best that Clarissa Shields has ever looked in her life. I'm not even joking, you know. That new hairpiece that Clarissa Shields has got is working absolute wonders. Clarissa Shields has made the move, yeah? She's not moved up a weight, but her hair's moved up a weight. She's cut that ghastly thing she had off her head before. She's gone for a much, much, much shorter hairpiece. And she looks 10 times better, in my opinion, than she's ever looked at any point in her career. So there you go. What do you guys think about that, about Clarissa Shields? Clarissa Shields there, for me, I have to be honest with you, looking, yeah? Big up Ultra. I can see what Sonny Edwards is seeing. I've never seen Clarissa Shields look this good before. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it is what it is. Maybe it's the black man in me coming out, innit? But I'm just being honest with you. I've never seen Clarissa Shields look so good before. She looks good by her standards, you know. Next step would be to get rid of this quote chain. What do you think about this quote chain? Quote. Listen, man, get rid of that chain, throw that chain in the bin. But I have to say, Clarissa Shields, it is what it is. Richard is saying Dalton Smith cut a massive cut across right eyebrow. Looks like Kermit the Frog's mouth. I can't bring myself to watch Dalton Smith. As somebody says on Twitter, yeah, when we're talking about Dalton Smith fight week, it kind of tells you everything you need to know about how far British boxing's fallen, isn't it? When we're talking about it's Dalton Smith. Didn't IFL TV say that this week? IFL TV saying it's Dalton Smith fight week. Hold on. Savannah's opponent is singing the national anthem, is she? Hold on. What the fuck is going on? Are you watching this fight? They've got Savannah Marshall's opponent is singing the national anthem. So not only is she about to fight Savannah Marshall, but she's doubling up, yeah, as the bloody singer. Jesus, tough times at Boxer. Boxer trying to cut costs in it. Fuck paying some broad to come in and sing the national anthem. All have the fucking fighters do it as part of it. I've never seen that before. A fighter come into the ring, yeah, and sing their own national anthem. Man, I would save that breath, yeah, on getting Savannah Marshall at the end of the jab. But boy, she must have energy to burn. She got two. You're getting two. If you've turned up to the Boxer show tonight, you're getting two performances for the price of one. Because Francine Cruz is coming in. She ain't coming in to fight. She also coming in to sing the national anthem as well. Only on a Boxer show would you see this shit. You know she ain't getting paid extra neither. Hold on, let me turn this shit up. Hold on. She's still singing. It's been too much. She's gonna do all three verses of this thing. Oh my Lord. She can sing, no question. Milan's saying she killed it. She can sing. But fuck me. I mean, just concentrate. I'd have her concentrating on, you know, getting her breathing right to get in the ring and do some solid rounds. But nah. She just did a cool 3 verses. And she's sweating as well. Then you can see the top of her head. But she's already sweating. So it is what it is. I don't know. I've got Savannah Marshall round 1 KO for this fight. Opponent sweating from singing the national anthem. Big up, Daryl. Big up, Daryl. Crazy D3 saying Ben Shalom is too stingy. You know what? If I could get on Twitter, I would show you this, but obviously Twitter is absolutely foobarred for everybody tonight, so we can't show you, the reaction on Twitter. But it would be hilarious there. It is what it is. Yeah, boxers, they're singing their own national anthem, so it is what it is. No expense spared at Boxer. It is what it is. While we're waiting for this fight, Jesus, I can't. Let me see if I can find the picture of Hughie Fury back in boxing. He gives a hot toss, but Hughie Fury is now back in the sport of boxing. Now, back in the days when Twitter actually used to work, right, I was able to show you videos because Hughie Fury posted a video up of himself of him on the pads. Now, without any disrespect to Hughie Fury, it does look like he is a long way away, from getting the ring of Anthony Joshua anytime soon. Like, a long way away. Like, I don't know who's farther away from getting a world title fight, him or Billy Joe Saunders. But put it this way, I mean, we're talking about Mount Everest here. With all due respect, I'm just trying to find the video on YouTube, as Twitter has absolutely gone haywire at the minute. But yeah, I'll see if I can find it for you. But what do you guys believe? Do you guys believe that Hughie Fury has the style to cause Anthony Joshua any problems if they fight? You know, a couple of years ago, about what? How many years ago? 5 years ago or so? There was a couple of people who thought maybe Hughie could do a few rounds of Anthony Joshua. Maybe his footwork could cause Anthony Joshua problems. And then obviously he's never been seen since. But what are you? Are you a believer in Hughie Fury? Yeah, if you are, let me know. But yeah, he thinks Anthony Joshua is a complete stiff. Listen, I'll be honest with you right now. I don't know the next time we're going to see Anthony Joshua in a boxing ring, because right now it's sounding like we won't see Anthony Joshua in the ring until best part of fucking January, right? And unless he's going to take this fight with Dillian White. Does anybody think he's going to take this fight with Dillian White? There seems to be all kinds of problems going on. There was a problem with a rematch clause because you got to have the match. And when you fight a match, for those of you who don't know, obviously, when you fight a match and fighter, you got to beat them 2 out of 3. Innit? Like, match and fights, innit? Like, it's not good enough to beat them once. You got to beat them 2 out of 3 times. We all know that. Like, Chantel Cameron's now going through that shit with Katie Taylor, innit? Anytime you beat a match and fighter, really, it's a best of 3, innit? It's a best of 3 until the match and fighter wins, innit? Really, let's just be honest with you, innit? Best of 3, repeated rematch clauses until the match and fighter rings, you know? Match and do rematch clauses. You know that them fucking reoccurring calendar events in Outlook that just won't go away. Yeah, you know, you work your desk job and you just keep getting these fucking reoccurring calendar events. You're like, fuck, I thought I did this meeting like a week ago. Fuck, I thought I talked to this idiot a week ago. Shit, I thought I told this idiot what to do a week ago. You look in your calendar and it's like, fucking hell, it's like there's a recurrence of the same shit. So you've now got to get together and say and do the same shit all over again, yeah? Well, fuck me. That's what I call these match and fight contracts be like them fucking reoccurring meetings in Outlook. It's never the one, is it? It's never the one. There's always 15 of them. Yeah. Richard Barker saying deja vu. No bullshit saying I believe in Hughie. I believe he's totally useless. Do you know, I always believed, and you guys think I'm joking, yeah? I always believed his footwork was better than Tyson's, you know? Like, I always thought he was actually better on his feet than Tyson, you know? At one point. Honestly, I thought Hughie Fury, though he didn't have much punch power, I thought, fuck, he is really, really good on his feet. Like, really, really, really good on his feet. I thought he was good on his feet as Tyson Fury, but obviously the punch power there. But I will say one thing about Hughie Fury. If you look at his performance, yeah, against... Who's the guy that Frank Sanchez fought? Who's the guy that Frank Sanchez fought? Is it Christian Hammer? If you look at Hughie Fury versus Christian Hammer and Frank Sanchez versus Christian Hammer a month or 2 later, Hughie Fury put in a better performance. And Frank Sanchez is supposed to be the next big thing in boxing because he's trained by, what's his name? The Canelo trainer, right? We're just starting off with round 1 in this Cruz versus Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall already taking a jab to the face. My gosh, Cruz is getting absolutely stuck in right now, man. Stuck in. And Savannah Marshall's feet are already crossing. So, like I said before, it's good to know that absolutely nothing's been worked on since the Clarissa Shields fight, because Savannah Marshall's already crossing her feet and beginning to fall over herself. And Franchon Cruz is really, really putting on the pressure. This is going to be, oh my word, this Franchon Cruz looks kind of vicious. This could be an interesting fight. Darryl is saying the battle of Tyson Fury's 2 trainers, Peter Fury and Sugar Hill in the corner. I think Sugar Hill and Tyson are split up. Does anybody agree with that? If you agree with that, press 7. If you disagree, press 8. I don't think there is a Tyson Fury and Sugar Hill anymore. Haven't heard anything or any inside information. It just What do you think? Does it look to you that Sugar Hill Stewart and Tyson Fury are still together? I don't think Sugar Hill Stewart is the coach of Tyson Fury anymore. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I think that he's been kicked out because of the comments he made. Alexander Usyk. The Furies have taken that to heart, haven't they? You know what happened during the Alexander Usyk, the public reaction. The Furies have really, really taken that to heart. So I know Shane disagrees with me. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. Does seem odd, doesn't it? Like, does seem odd. When was the last time he was in Fury's gym? He's in the UK right now. Has he been to visit Tyson? Is he in Tyson's gym? Normally, when he comes to the UK, you see him hanging around Tyson in Tyson's gym. I don't have access to Twitter and Instagram in a minute, so maybe there's something I'm missing, but I don't know. We'll see. I've just got a funny feeling that partnership's going to come to an end. You know, John Fury's comments about Sugar Hill basically riding off the name of Tyson Fury, and basically, you know, not having really achieved much in the sport until he trained with Tyson Fury. It is what it is. Listen, this Franchon Cruz versus Savannah Marshall fight is just a straight up barn burner, man. This is just a straight up barn burner. There's not much footwork going on, but there's plenty of punches being thrown. You know, like I said before, plenty of punches being thrown. Plenty of punches, but there's also plenty falling over the feet. If you're watching the Savannah Marshall fight, let me know what you think. I'm glancing at it. She's supposed to be a power puncher, right? But her punches would be so much more powerful if she was better balanced, in my opinion. And the way she falls over to one side, I'm watching her on the replay. I know she's throwing some overhand right hands and things like that, but it's the way she falls over herself. It's the way she falls off the center line when she's throwing shots. When she throws her jab, if you look, she leans to one side. She does that little. Who is it who used to box like that? Was it Joe Frazier? You know when Joe Frazier used to box and he used to lean over to one side and he used to throw that double jab from the shoulder and walk his way in. Like, I don't know, man. She's a kind of a very, very unorthodox way of fighting. She doesn't look very balanced when she's throwing her punches. Now you see her throwing a jab, and you look at Savannah Marshall's head position. She's constantly leaning to one side, if that makes sense. If you watch when she throws a jab, she leans over to one side and then throws the jab. She's constantly, if you look at her, she's always off balance. Like, she does this weird rocking. She's like a rocking horse. She's just rocking from left to right as she throws her punches. If you watch as she walks in, she does this weird little rocking motion. Let's have a look. See, I'm just going to try and have a look here. I mean, Franchon's Cruz is throwing absolute bombs here. None of them are landing anything clean. Cruz DeZerno is like a Haitian pimp from Miami. Yo, what was that Grand Theft Auto game when they had the Haitians in it? Can somebody tell me? Was it Grand Theft Auto Vice City? What was the game of GTA when they had the Haitians in it? Hold on. An anti-poulet. Oh dear, cringe, man. Franchon Cruz looking like anti-poulet, yeah, from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Jesus, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of it? It's entertaining, but like I said before, I'm just gonna get a look. There's not much going in the way of footwork from Savannah. I don't want to what she's doing in that gym. Oh, she knocked Franchon Cruz off balance. But anyway, it is what it is. London Shaft says Savannah fights like Danny Williams when he dislocated his shoulder. She kind of does, don't she? Because she does this weird shuffle. She has this weird shuffle when she comes in. And she's supposed to be a tall fighter, right? Savannah Marshall. She's supposed to be big and tall, but she doesn't really fight upright, does she? Because every time she throws her jab, she leans over to one side and then throws her jab. She's leaning to one side after she throws her punches. Like, she doesn't really fight upright at all, does she? She's constantly, if you look at Savannah Marshall, she's constantly leaning over to one side. And I'm just saying, if you're constantly leaning over to your left and leaning over to your right all the time, like, Jesus, just imagine how much more power those punches would carry if she was a bit more upright. I could be talking complete bollocks, but like I said before, hold on. She kind of boxes like this is her kind of like default stance. Show you here. That's why we've referred to Savannah Marshall on this channel as boxing's answer to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do you know what I mean? She's oh, fuck off. Here we go. Colleen, I want to know why you are so hard on Tyson Fury and Eddie Hearn. There you go. We ain't got time tonight, Colleen. I'm sorry. We ain't got the time tonight, Colleen. I don't run a babysitting service and I'm not a social worker. You know, I'm not a social worker. I don't get paid extra time to, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. Do you know what I mean? I don't do care in the community. I just come on here to talk about boxing, innit? So if you could, with all due respect, Colleen, I hope you have a good evening. But if you could spare me, that'd be great. Just for me, innit? If you could spare me, innit? I come away from here to get away from it all. Do you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You can't start coming on here trying to get a free therapy session out of me. Do you know what I mean? Free therapy session out of me. You want me to sit on the fucking green couch and start telling you about why I feel the way I feel? Look, forget that, innit? Forget that. Let's just have a laugh, innit? Let's have a laugh. We've got 61 people here in 25 minutes. Now, those numbers for this show are genuinely terrible. Having said that, they are still higher than the numbers that Savannah Marshall got, yeah, for a press conference with Cruz, which got a massive 54 people watching on the TalkSport website. So as bad as my numbers are right now, they're still better than TalkSports. Yeah, so we got the Leaning Tower of Pisa here. So I would say this is Savannah Marshall's default stance. She's either leaning one way or leaning the other way. I was going to make a joke there about the bedroom and Huey Fury, but I think, look, that's probably not appropriate. But I think you can kind of guess what it is. But yeah, try standing upright, Savannah. I don't know. She would knock me out for sure. Albanian Boxing Nation, who's at about 650 different accounts on this channel and thinks I don't notice. So they've both fallen on the floor. Well, there you go. That shows you the level of footwork we've got in this game. They've both fallen on the fucking floor at the same time in a double KO. Only joking, they're still fighting and falling all over each other. How many belts is this for, by the way? How many belts are on the line for this shit? My gosh. Jesus Christ almighty. Good uppercut there from Savannah Marshall. Nearly lands there. I've never seen two fighters fall over their shots so many times in my entire life. Like, I'm not being funny. No disrespect. I'm sure they'll both knock me out. But press one if you agree with me. It's like they're both fighting on a bouncy castle. Wouldn't you say that, innit? The amount of times they're falling on each other, innit? It's literally like they're fighting at a bouncy castle. Do you guys remember Fantasy Island when you was a kid? They have one in London, don't they? Where do they have one, innit? I'm sure they had one near Wembley, innit? Fantasy Island. Do you guys remember that? I used to love that place, mate. Fantasy Island. Jesus Christ. I used to absolutely love that place. Look, Savannah Marshall and Cruz footwork, looking like they're fighting in here. Looking like they're fighting on top of one of these. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're fighting in here. Fighting on a bouncy castle, fighting on the rollerballs. It's absolutely unbelievable. Daryl says Savannah still can't fight on the inside. What was we talking about then? So White, Milan, a leaning tower of Marshall. Fucking hell. Unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? She should have come out to lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. That's what Savannah Marshall needs to come out to. She needs to come out to lean on me. Because she don't know the meaning of the word vertical. Anyway, lean back. That was a much better choice, Yo King. How did I miss that one? How did I miss that one? Jeez, man. How did I miss that? That was a sitting dot one that I just missed there. Lean back. Lean back. I don't know. This is dire stuff. Right. Anyway, let's get this absolute guff off the screen. All right. We've done Huey Fury then and Anthony Joshua, yeah? There's no need to talk about that anymore. There's AJ. The throwback lumberjack is what it is. Oh, God. What do you think about why boxing fights aren't happening at the minute? Do you think, oh, my God, did you see that? They're both forward and down again. Both of them. Cruz threw a left hook half. You could see that left hook from Dunstable. It was that far away. I mean, Cruz's left hook traveled in on the fucking Ryanair. I mean, it was that fucking telegraphed. I mean, air traffic control would have picked up that fucking right hook when she fucking threw it and tracked it all the way, yeah, across the Atlantic, yeah, straight to Savannah Marshall's chin. I mean, geez. These women are literally throwing punches from way too far out. But like I said before, when you got no feet, that's what happens. Lord Jesus Christ. And then Savannah Marshall tried to counter her and the two of them fell over each other. Do you know what I just say? Just start giving knockdowns. I don't care anymore about this fight. If these two fall down, I don't care if it's off a punch or not. If they fall down again, just start handing out knockdowns and stop the fight. 3 knockdown rule. Anybody falls over again, that's a knockdown. Any more, fight's over. Jesus Christ. Why do you guys think the heavyweight division's being held up? Do you think it's all Tyson Fury's fault? That seems to be a lot of the consensus on Twitter right now. That is, oh my God, these two are just going to war. That is just basically all down to Tyson Fury. But last time I checked, Tyson Fury wasn't stopping Anthony Joshua fighting. And he wasn't stopping Deontay Wilder fight either. It does seem to me, right? And you let me know what you think. I could be wrong on this, right? Do you think the bottom line of it is that none of these fighters are scared of each other, which I don't think they are? I think they're all waiting on massive money to come in from Saudi Arabia. And none of this money's coming in yet. Press one if you agree with me and press two if you disagree. Because I can't get the video up because it's on Twitter. Actually, I can get the video up. But if you look at Amir Abdullah, who was formerly a Mayweather Promotions guy, yeah? He was in Floyd Mayweather's team for a very, very long time. If you've watched the Mayweather boxing channel, you'll know exactly who Amir Abdullah is. He's now the front man for Skills Challenge, which is the boxing promotion out in Saudi Arabia, right? And here in this video, Eddie Hearn's been telling Porky Pies now for the best part of a couple of weeks, isn't he? He's been saying, oh, we received an offer for Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Well, Amir Abdullah is on record multiple times, right? Saying Eddie Hearn's not telling the truth. We have not sent over any offer for Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. So, and he's also, by the way, come out and said that the reports of the money on offer, I think Simon Jordan was throwing out some figures on TalkSport. The reports of, like 2 fights happening at the same time on the same night and all the fighters getting 150 million, 200 million, all this kind of stuff. He said this is all a load of hot rubbish. That's what he said. So he said that the purses that are being reported are incorrect and false. And the promoters turning around and saying that they've been offered contracts on behalf of Skill Challenge are also false. There is no offer for Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder as it stands here. According to Skills Challenge Saudi Arabia, the only person who said that is Eddie Hearn. And he's now telling in fact, Eddie Hearn's telling Porky Pies because he's now since changed his stance. He's now saying he's very confident that it will get made after a meeting. See, they're still having meetings. They've been having meetings about this fight since 2007. But I think the bottom line of it is this. The reason why the heavyweight division, to me, seems like it's probably getting held up is you've got a number of fighters who know there's going to be some massive money. Oh, my Lord. Franchon Cruz is on the floor again. Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry about that. Oh, that was a good shot. That was a good jab right hand, though, from Savannah Marshall. Fair play to her. Jesus, one of the few clean shots I've seen land. Yeah, it looks to me like these fighters are waiting for a payday. Somebody's tipped them off that sooner or later there's going to be some big, big money coming their way in Saudi Arabia. And I think a lot of these fighters, obviously Usyk's fighting is mandatory, so we can't count him, right? But we'll go on to that in a second, actually, because I haven't seen any promotion for that fight. Can I ask you a question? Do you guys not find it strange? I could be completely find it completely rubbish. Have you guys seen any promotion whatsoever for Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois? Have you guys seen anything to do with that? When's that fight supposed to take place? When was the purse bid? The purse bid was like a month ago, was it not? Am I right? Am I wrong about that? The purse bid for Usyk and Dubois, when was that? Was that a month ago, or am I dreaming? I haven't seen any kind of promotion, at all for Dubois versus Usyk. So look, the fight's happening in Poland, so maybe that's why we're not seeing too much promotion in the UK. But that does seem odd, doesn't it? That does seem odd. You've got the unified heavyweight champion of the world, who many people would say is the number one heavyweight in the world. I personally would disagree with that, but many people would say that, right? And he's having a fight, a homecoming fight in Poland. He's having a homecoming fight in Poland. Maybe it's just a thing that is happening in Poland, so we're not seeing much promotion over here. August 26th. So that fight's when? Oh, they still got time. Yeah, okay. We still got a good eight weeks to go. We still got a good 8 weeks to go. But keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on Dubois and Usyk, because for a fight that's supposed to be happening in 8 weeks, there isn't a lot of chat about that. But maybe they haven't sorted out the TV rights in the UK yet, and that's the reason why it is. But anyway, I'm looking at it. So far, the viewers' scorecard, they've got Savannah Marshall winning every single round, apart from the first round against Cruz. So it looks like Savannah Marshall is going to be a world champion again. And then you're going to see her and Clarissa Shields square off in the ring. So you'll be seeing that. And Savannah Marshall will be saying, come to St. James's Park. I'm going to fill out 70,000. And Clarissa Shields going to say, there's no way I'm coming to St. James's Park to fight you because I've already done beat you in your backyard anyway. Rinse and repeat. But yeah, it looks to me like they're waiting. What do you guys think? Just looks to me like these guys, doesn't look to me like these guys are scared of each other. Anthony Joshua is waiting on a massive money offer to fight Deontay Wilder, possibly at the end of the year. So, you know, does he really want to get in the ring and fight Dillian White? What is it now? We are in July, right? So he gets to the ring of Wilder December, January, right? So let's have a look here. September, October, November, December. So October, November, December. And so what he's going to fight in August, Anthony Joshua, yeah? He's going to fight in July, August, and then it would be September or October, and then he'd go back, basically back into training again to fight Deontay Wilder. What do you guys think? It's pushing it a bit thin, isn't it? It's pushing it a bit thin. I think a few fighters behind the scenes have got their minds made up. They're not going to risk anything, and they're going to try and wait it out and wait for these big money Saudi offers to come in, and I think that's what they're waiting on. What do you guys think about that? Or do you think it's like, you know, it's all down to Tyson Fury? It's one person holding up the heavyweight division. Let me know what you think about that. Games You Love says, listening in Ultra, big up. Who do you think Frank will be announcing as Fury's opponent? Well, Frank said it's game-changing, hasn't he? So you'd assume it's some form of MMA fighter, wouldn't you? Would you not? Would you not? You'd assume it's like Francis Ngannou, wouldn't you? In some kind of semi-exhibition type fight. It's got to be that, isn't it? I mean, I don't know where else it could be. I don't know what else. By the way, Frank Warren absolutely smoking crack. Jesus Christ. Have you said his latest interview? Frank Warren. He's saying it's going to be Dubois versus Fury for undisputed. Fuck hell. Frank, I love you to bits, man, but maybe it is time for retirement, you know? Are you crazy? I know you got to back Dubois at all costs, but let's be honest with you. Dubois got no chance against Usyk. Let's be honest. He's got a puncher's chance and that's it. But Frank Warren telling everybody that it's going to be Fury versus Dubois for undisputed. Not a fucking chance in hell of that happening, in my opinion. Just absolutely, yeah, exactly, Richard. They're giving Frank them top drawer painkillers. Yeah, Frank must be out of his mind. What was it? Frank, they must have Valiumed up Frank Warren until the fucking cows come home. What's that shit that they give you when you're on painkillers? Is it Valium or something else? Begins with a C, man. I forgot what it was. Mrs. Ultra had to go on it when she had COVID and she was in pain. I forgot what it was. I'll get her in here in a minute. She'll tell us what it is. Ngannou is the only choice for that sort of fight. And the funny thing is, right? Cody, and that's the thing. That's the one. Your average idiot on Twitter will say that Ngannou versus Fury is a terrible fight, right? But it will do huge numbers, man. Like, I'm just here to tell you right now. Like, I'm here to tell you right now, man. If Ngannou fights Fury under any circumstances, man, the numbers for that will be fucking ginormous, man. They'll be ginormous, man. The pay-per-view numbers in that, you expect the numbers involved to be huge. The money would be huge. And I'm sorry, the hype for the fight, I'd expect to be huge as well. So, like I said before, dudes on Twitter in their mum's basements making YouTube videos on their laptops, innit? They're going to come out and say it's terrible. And I understand that, you know, it's not the fight we want to see. You're going to say, strip Tyson Fury the WBC title, even though no mandatory has been called. Strip Tyson Fury the WBC title because, you know, undisputed and whatnot, and fair enough. And that's fine. All I'm here to tell you today is if a Tyson Fury fights Francis Ngannou, it's going to be a huge fight. I'm just here to tell you today. It's going to be several orders of magnitude bigger than Alexander Usyk getting fucking 4 million quid to fight Daniel Dubois. I'm just here to tell you that today, right? Regardless of who you think, who's ducking who, who's Ring Magazine #1, who's not. I'm just here to tell you today, okay? One guy's going to be fighting Daniel Dubois for a £4 million paycheck in the middle of Poland, yeah? And if the other guy ends up fighting Francis Ngannou, if the other guy ends up fighting the current UFC heavyweight champ, which he is, because no one's beating him, right? No one's taking the belt off Ngannou, right? He left as the champion, right? He's the fucking UFC champion at heavyweight or whatever, or light heavyweight, or whatever it is, right? He is the reigning fucking champion. That's how they'll fucking market him. They'll mark him as the reigning UFC champion. Listen, the reigning UFC champion goes into a fight with Tyson Fury, yeah, of any kind. All I'm saying is, yeah, there will be significantly more interest in that fight and significantly more money than Alexander Usyk's getting to fight Daniel Dubois. That's all I'm here to tell you today. So, I don't know. In terms of who deserves the biggest split, A side, B side, I don't give a fuck about that because, like I said before, I'm not one of these mummies boys making YouTube videos on a Dell laptop because I don't want to get a real job, right? I like talking about the fights and I like, you know, being in the gym, practicing boxing, right? But I'm here to tell you today, for those people who like to tweet about A and B side, I'm here to tell you, if it's Fury and Ngannou, you might want to check the numbers involved. But it'd be interesting. So yeah, that's what I think it's going to be. Like, it'll be an MMA fight, won't it? It'll be like an Ngannou, or it'll be a John Jones, or it'll be someone like that. Clarissa Shields ringside, absolutely screaming for Savannah Marshall to get a beat down there. She hates Savannah Marshall with an absolute passion there. Jesus, Clarissa Shields almost in a ring with Franchon Cruz. What round are we in now? Thankfully, this bullshit's over. Did anybody, by the way, I know we're going slightly off topic. Does anybody got any thoughts on Ben Whitaker? We'll get on to Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith in a minute. But did anybody got any thoughts on Ben Whitaker? If you have any someone that interests you, give me his thoughts. Because I think he's going to be in for a lot of criticism after that fight tonight. That was an incredibly poor stoppage. It's a classic British stoppage, wasn't it? That Ben Whitaker stoppage. It's that classic British corruption stoppage, in my opinion, where the guy was basically going to see it through to the end of the fight, and they stopped him with 1 minute to go to make sure that Ben Whitaker could keep his little knockout record or whatever he's got. I just thought it was appalling, to be honest. And I think, again, Ben Whitaker, he looks quite big for the weight, doesn't he? He looks big for the weight. Looks tall. He's a fantastic physical specimen. Another physically gifted fighter. Hand speed. Looks to carry a dig in his shots. But I don't know, man. You see certain things going on with that defense, innit? You see certain things happening with certain things happening with his defense, and I'm not having that. What I'll say about Ben Whitaker is this, and all I'll say is this. I watched him tonight from quite a close way. He ain't much of a counterpuncher at the minute, is he? He ain't much of a counterpuncher. And you know why he doesn't seem to be much of a counterpuncher? If he was much of a counterpuncher, he would have got that guy and knocked that guy out tonight, because it's the punches that you don't see coming that can be the ones that take you out, particularly journeymen who are used to being on the receiving end of lots of punishment, right? With journeymen who are used to being on the receiving end of lots of punishment. One of the ways which I think you can take out a journeyman is you start countering them, put the pressure on, bait them into punching, and then catch them in the middle of the punching, catch them with the punch they don't see, and then follow up with the shots, yeah? Because journeymen are used, if you stand in front of journeymen and load up like what Ben Whitaker was doing, journeymen are used to seeing them kind of shots coming. But you know what? I didn't see a lot of counterpunch from Ben Whitaker. And I think a lot of that comes from his hand position, because if you watch Ben Whitaker fight, he fights with his hands by his waist. Very, very, again, amateur style of boxing where the feet is the first form of defense. And he uses his feet to get himself in and out of range. And as a result, because his hands are always by his waist and he uses his feet as the first form of defense, which is fine, when punches start coming Ben Whitaker's way, he leans back, chin up in the air. And when you lean back, chin up in the air, and you try and awkwardly dodge and roll punches in the way he does with your hands by your waist, you're out of position to punch yourself. And that's why that journeyman didn't legitimately get stopped tonight by Ben Whitaker. The difference is now, if Ben Whitaker went into a higher guard, walked this opponent down, baited him into throwing, and started parrying and countering, catching and shooting. I didn't see Ben Whitaker parry and shoot. I didn't see Ben Whitaker catch and shoot. I didn't see him catch any kind of shots tonight. I didn't see him catch a shot and return fire. I didn't see him parry a shot down and return fire. Walk down on a high guard, parry the shots down, come back with your own shots. But because, like I said before, he's leaning back when return fire comes his way, because he leans back, he drops his hands, he leans back, chin in the air, he's beat at the first form of defense, and he tries to hop outside of range. He's not in position to punch. He's not balanced, and so he can't take the opportunities to counter some of these people that he would normally have. So I'm not a big fan of what I'm seeing from Ben Whitaker so far, but it's early days. Gareth A. Davis trying to jump on Clarissa with the mic and got blanked. Man, Clarissa ain't got no time for no Caucasians. Well, you know about Clarissa. If you know anything about Clarissa Shields, you know that Clarissa Shields ain't got no time for no Caucasians, especially Caucasians, yeah, with a search history like Gareth A. Now, we know Gareth A. Davis has got time for brothers because we've seen his search history. You see Gareth A. Davis' search history, yeah? If you're privy to Gareth A. Davis's browser history, then you'll know. There ain't no way anybody can accuse Gareth A. Davis of being a racist. Far from it. Far from it. I need to tell you today, yeah, that Gareth A. Davis is very much an admirer, yeah, of some of the things that us brothers have to offer. You're listening, Daryl? So, Daryl, if you're in the area, yeah, and you happen to bump into Gareth A. Davis, you might want to look over your shoulder, innit? Yeah, that goes for you as well, Yo King, because Gareth A. Davis certainly appreciates a brother, innit? Yeah. So yeah, I can believe that. But you know, Christian Shields, she ain't got time for no Caucasians, man. Christian Shields ain't got no time for no Caucasians. Christian Shields is basically BLM in a boxing ring. All right, yeah, but Gareth A. Davis leaving his dodgy browser tabs open. Yeah, he's been quote unquote hacked again, hasn't he? Hacked. Fucking hell. Wish somebody would hack him and lock him out of his fucking account permanently. Do us all a favor. Right. Let's looks like Savannah Marshall is going to be world champion. So more bad news coming our way very, very shortly. Let's move on to this absolute gonad here. There are a lot of people who don't fight that keep talking about fighting and boxing these days. Have you noticed that? What do you guys think? You notice how many people that are talking about fighting these days that can't fight? I don't talk about it. I can't fight for toffee, but all of a sudden, have you noticed now? Frank Smith's talking like a roadman now. Have you guys seen this recent stuff now? Frank Smith, he's talking like he wants to KO people, though. He's talking about fighting Simon Jordan, isn't he? He's saying he wants to fight Simon Jordan. He's saying he'd knock out Ben Shalom in a round. Like, all of a sudden, like, Frank Smith seems to fucking fancy himself, didn't he? Didn't he? What did Frank Warren say about Frank Smith and Eddie Hearn, a.k.a. Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men? What did Frank Warren say? Frank Warren said the two of them couldn't do 2 rounds in a revolving door. Did you guys hear that? Frank Warren said about Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith. He said Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith couldn't do 2 rounds in a revolving door. Why are these two always talking about? Have you noticed that now? Like, I don't know why. I think it's because there's a bit of lack of action in it. There's a bit of lack of action in a minute in the heavyweight division, so the promoters are trying to fill it in for us. But what's going on here? Like, why are these guys who don't fight keep talking like they're fighting? In it, like we all know Eddie Hearn don't fight. We all know Eddie Hearn don't fight. Talks a load of shit, doesn't he? Still waiting to see his amateur ABC card. He only fights people who can't fight back. We all know about Eddie Hearn. Or he's only who's he willing to fight? He's willing to fight Simon Jordan and Frank Smith, isn't he? Eddie Hearn won't fight anybody his own size. So we all know what he is, don't we? We all know what he is, right? Films himself sparring Frank Smith. There you go. Won't get him with anybody his own size, though. Do you know what I mean? You know what happens when Eddie Hearn gets him with somebody his own size? It's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap for him because he keeps saying, Denny, every time he gets all of this, Sky Nicholson, no surprise in the background. Every time he keeps talking about fighting Eddie Hearn. He keeps talking about, yo, I'm 6'6", for fucking 300 pounds, didn't he? I'm 6'6", 20 stone. Listen, I'm not going to say anything, but I've seen Eddie Hearn box. I don't rate him at all. I don't rate him. But anyway, it is. I don't rate him at all. I don't rate him. And I think if he gets in the ring, even for a joke spar with somebody anywhere near his height, I think he'll get hammered. That's my opinion. That's my opinion about Eddie Hearn. I think he likes to get in the ring with people who are a lot shorter than him. And he keeps talking about, yo, I'm 6'6", 300 pounds. I tell you now, put him in with somebody who's about 6 foot and knows what they're doing, and that'd be it. That'd be it. And that's the reason why he only body spars as well, by the way. You know, Eddie Hearn, he'll only do a body spar, see? Makes sense. Body spar suits him down to a ground, doesn't it? Body sparring, innit? Oh, I'll give you a body spar. No headshots allowed, obviously, in case he gets his bell rung, innit? What an absolute joker. Look at this guy. Filming himself body sparring. Yeah, listen, man. Throw to the head, innit? If you're talking like a gangster, throw to the head, innit? You go out here calling out Simon Jordan for a charity fight. Why are you body sparring for? Telling everybody that you was an amateur boxer. You was an amateur boxer at Whitaker Boxing Club, and you was knocking people out, innit? You had a 4-0 record. And you're calling out Simon Jordan and Ben Shalom. Well, if you're calling out Simon Jordan and Ben Shalom, then you need to spar properly, innit? What's this fucking body sparring? I don't even body spar, mate. And I'm one of the biggest pussies there is. Anyway, so, you know, Eddie Hearn's been yapping on about fighting. But this guy, Frank Smith, now, all of a sudden, like I said, he's now yapping on about fighting as well, innit? He wants to fight Jordan. He wants to fight loads of people. I don't get it, man. Where's all this talk coming from? Where's all this talk coming from? Who do you think would win in a fight? Frank Smith or Ben Shalom? I've got Ben Shalom first round KO. Seriously. I've seen Frank Smith box. He is absolutely positively one of the worst fighters I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, games you love. I'm still waiting for the exactly. Yeah, why doesn't Eddie Hearn call out Oscar De La Hoya for charity? He wants to have a charity fight with Simon Jordan. Why do you have a charity fight with Oscar De La Hoya? You're much bigger than him, innit? You weren't running around telling everybody that you're fucking 6'6", fucking 300 pounds. Why ain't you jumping in with De La Hoya then for a spar? See what happens, innit? But he won't do that, will he? He won't do that. He'll stick to his usuals, isn't he? He'll stick to his usuals. Frank Smith or Ben Shalom, who have you got? Richard says Frank Smith doesn't even have respect in his own home. No chance he gets Shalom's respect in the ring. Listen, I think Ben Shalom will absolutely take him out. He is dreadful. He is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Do you know, I'll tell you a secret about people who don't box, right? People who don't box, yeah, and who watch it on TV, one of the biggest misconceptions that they have about boxing, honest to God, is they don't realize how hard it is to take a punch and still keep looking at the target. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, people who don't box, who just watch it on TV, they don't understand the amount of training and how long it takes for you to actually take a punch square on in the head and keep looking at the target. Because most people who've never boxed and jump in the gym for the first time and you start throwing punches at them, the very, very first thing they will do every single time is look down to the ground and look down to the floor. Press one of you every single time. Doesn't matter what gym you go to. It could be a gym in gyms all around the world, yeah, from Uzbekistan to Uxbridge, yeah, gyms all across the world. The very first thing that somebody who's never boxed will do when you throw a punch in their face, they will look to the floor. Literally, their eyes will not keep the target. It will not. I guarantee you, every single time, it takes at least in a boxing gym. It takes at least a couple of, and you'd have to be going regularly. It takes at least a couple of weeks for you to learn how to take a punch and keep your eyes on the target. To take the punch, don't flinch, don't close your eyes, and don't look at the floor. These guys who don't box, yeah, I'll tell you a secret, right? And they're coming on here telling me they're gonna knock me out and do all this stuff. They actually think that when a punch comes their way, they're gonna be like the guys they see on TV. That's how delusional these people are. They think they're gonna take a punch, and they think they're just gonna, keep. What they don't realize is when the punch comes their way, they're not even going to be looking. They're not even going to be looking. And by the time you're not looking, it's over. That's long gone over. I've worked in the gym with a lot of people who are starting, and it takes weeks to get them comfortable enough to stop them flinching, stop them closing their eyes, and stop them looking at the floor. Takes weeks and months to do. It took me months. I'm no good. It took me months. So yeah, Big Z agrees. Yeah. But these guys who watch, that's one of the telltale signs of people who just watch it on TV. The guys who just watch it on TV are fucking delusional. They think they're going to go in there because they've seen what they rambling on about. They're on Twitter rambling on about the Four Kings. They got some stupid ass profile pictures. It's always the ones with a fucking, with some black and white boxer in a pro. See, you know what I mean? They got the Sugar Ray Robertson fucking picture on. You know the one I'm talking about. The guys on social media who never boxed before, but they come on social media with a profile picture of some old boxer in black and white like this. Look, they normally have a profile picture like this, and I think because they know some boxer from the 1950s, or because they watched Leonard, Duran, and Hagler 150 times, they think they actually know something about the sport, and they're delusional. They think they're going to go into a ring, yeah, and they think. I tell you what, I'm not going to name names, but there's a YouTuber who's very, very popular on here, right? I'm not slagging anybody off at all, but I promise you, but there's a YouTuber who's very, 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 very popular on here who actually uploaded a video of himself sparring in a professional gym against a professional UK fighter. And it was just like the professional fighter was hitting him like 0.5 out of 10, right? 0.5 out of 10. And he was looking at the floor. He was looking at the floor. He was flinching and he was literally falling all over the ring and falling onto the ropes. I shit you not. The reason I remember that video is because that guy was on Twitter talking tough talk on Twitter the other day. So I had to grab that video and DM it to somebody, innit? That guy was on Twitter talking seriously tough talk, like he could actually do something. And I was in a conversation with somebody who you would know. And we were talking about it. And I said, have you actually seen this guy in the ring? Look, have a look at this video. Fucking hell. Absolutely delusional, mate. Absolutely delusional. Yeah, or you're saying this one there, or they got this one. They've got the Hagler war hat, exactly. Or is this one? It's always the same two pictures. It's either Sugar Ray Robinson or it's this profile pic. And like I said before, they think because they watched fucking Duran versus fucking Leonard 700 times, they actually think they know something about the sport. When they get in the ring, they get a fucking rude awakening. Very, very quickly, they get a very, very quick rude awakening. They find out, that watching it on TV, yeah? And being in the gym... two different sports, man. And I'm not. Let me make this clear. I am not a tough guy. I'm just saying. But I don't talk like a tough guy. But there's a few people online who talk like they're real gangsters, you know. I couldn't believe how some of these dudes were talking. I had to go and look back at the video of them sparring to remind myself. I'm like, dude, have you watched your own video? Literally, when I tell you falling over the ropes, falling over themselves and falling all over the ropes and looking at the floor, it's one of the most, it is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life. And I would never upload a video of myself. I don't know why they uploaded that video of themselves, to be honest. It looks absolutely dreadful. But the lack of self-awareness, obviously, is a running theme amongst content creators. Ice Meister says, I feel like I can move like Messi until I actually get on the pitch. And I realize I can never move like that in my wild. There's no self-awareness, is there? There's literally no self-awareness. So, like I said, the name of the game isn't to say I know a lot about boxing. I don't know a lot about boxing, then I can't fight for toffee, right? But what I'm trying to say to you is that I'm self-aware. I know that I'm shit because I've actually been in the gym and I've been in the ring and I've been punched and I've been floored. So I know my limitations. I know I'm shit. I'm not one of these delusional dudes who thinks because they watch, you know, Aaron Pryor fights from fucking 1975, thinks I can actually translate that to going in the ring. Because you will get humbled very, very quickly. Like Frank Smith will get humbled, to get back to the point, if he keeps talking nonsense, yeah? Someone needs to put out an APB on Frank Smith. Stop talking about fighting, Frank. Please, mate. I'm begging you. Stop talking about fighting. Everybody knows that your missus dog walks you around the house, yeah? In an S&M collar. Don't lie. Everybody knows that your missus literally walks you around on a dog lead and takes you to the park and feeds you kibble. We all know it, mate. We all know she walks you around on a doggy lead and makes you sleep at night in a kennel and serves you up pedigree chum. What are them things that dogs eat? I can't stand dogs, so you know I can't stand dogs. Richard, I'm sorry, I cannot stand dogs, but what are them things that dogs eat out of? Dog bowl. You know what I mean? Emily Smith be serving Frank Smith his dinner up in one of these dog bowls, innit? Be Frank Smith waiting for his dinner. We all know she runs that household, mate. She got him on a leash, mate. That's Frank Smith there tonight asking what's for dinner. But he out here, though, talking about he going to fight Ben Shalom. Is he crazy? He out here talking about he going to fight Ben Shalom. He out here getting bullied by... He ain't even getting bullied by Chris Eubank. He on camera getting bullied by Chris Eubank's sister. In front of 55,000 people. He getting bullied by Chris Eubank's own sister. But he now coming out and telling you that he going to go and knock out a grown man in a round on IFL TV. Look. These dudes need to stop talking about fighting. Leave the fighting to the fighters. I'm just here to tell you, man. I don't talk about it because I can't fight. So I don't talk about it. I leave the fighting to the people who can actually fight, a.k.a. not me. Too many people out on the internet talking these days about throwing punches when they've got no ability. Stop it, man. Stop it. Right. What else have we got to yap on about? Savannah Marshall is allegedly champion of the world. Oh, let's see if we can Cruz Shields. 1 sec. If you guys have got any comments or questions, let's we'll go through them. Let's have a look. Is this Cruz Shields been coming on or what? Oh, they fucking muted it. Cruz Shields look absolutely fuming. It is what it is. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Adam Smith. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Adam Smith on the pads. I think they've removed that video now. You know. Remember that? That was the greatest of all time. I know we've seen it a million times, but Adam Smith on the pads, like, you cannot beat that video. You absolutely cannot beat that video of Adam Smith, which will never, I don't think ever find it again. I should have saved that video, but it is what it is. My Spence versus Crawford prediction, if I still have a YouTube channel, the plan is to really, really cover that in depth on the night. So we'll see. If I'm still on YouTube, the night of Spence versus Crawford, the plan is to really give it some serious coverage. It's a once-in-a-lifetime fight, so it deserves once-in-a-lifetime coverage. And that may involve streaming from a platform that isn't even StreamYard. You know, it may involve streaming from a platform that isn't StreamYard. And we're going to try and do all sorts for that fight because it's a once-in-a-lifetime fight. I would love to see Errol Spence beat Terence Crawford, to be honest with you. I'll be pulling for Errol Spence to win that fight. But I don't think you can get away from Crawford. I don't think Crawford is as tested at the weight as people think. I don't think his performance against Sean Porter was great, but you have to go with Terence Crawford. I think the warning signs for Spence was, you know, Ugas, and I'm not saying Ugas is a bad fighter, but Ugas had him hurt bad in that fight. Do you remember when Ugas hurt him with a shot and Spence was just all over the place? And then something happened with the referee, got in, and I don't know what happened. But he was hurt. Spence was all over the place from that. And listen, Spence deserved to win the fight. He beat Ugas up. He broke him down and he got him out of there. And I respect Spence. I love to see him win this fight, but he was hurt very bad by Ugas in that fight. And you just wonder about what happens when Terence Crawford lands a clip, because Terence Crawford is arguably the best and most spiteful finisher in boxing. You know, he is arguably the best and most spiteful finisher in boxing. Like when he gets somebody hurt, he is absolutely spiteful. You know, he is very, very spiteful, very, very spiteful. Like he has got very much so killer instincts. You know, so if Spence does get hurt like that, it could be. But I'm expecting us to see though the best Errol Spence we've ever seen. I really am expecting that, and I'm hoping that Spence can go in there and get the job done. But it's interesting. But like I said before, I need to do the film study, the real proper in-depth film study, and go for it. Yeah, remember Adam Smith training with Klitschko? Yes, matter of fact, this is one that, believe it or not, I did manage to. This is what happens when you spend too much time watching Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Robinson fights instead of actually going to the gym and doing training. You end up looking like this.
2, 3, 4, 5, higher, 6, 7, 2 more, 8, 9, 10.
There you go. God bless Adam Smith's soul. To be honest, he should have retired from Sky Sports Boxing right that very second, didn't it? True or false, isn't it? Adam Smith should have retired from Sky Sports Boxing with immediate effect after that. Can you believe that Sky Sports allowed him after that to continue to commentate on pay-per-view? Can you fucking believe that he was allowed to commentate on pay-per-view after that? He was allowed to actually give an opinion, a professional opinion, and get paid for it on who would win in a fight between two grown men. He can't even do a fucking leg up. Listen, if you ever want to look up all these boxing connoisseurs online, that's them in a nutshell, mate. Never been in a boxing gym in their life, but think they know it all till they get in the gym. And then that's what happens, mate. Oh God, he found the video. Richard found it. Jesus, let me find this. The Adam Smith pads. Look, we've seen it a million times, but in honor of Richard, look, one more time, yeah? One more time. I thought they'd taken this down, to be honest, because it was so bad. I genuinely thought they'd taken it down, but here it is. One more time. Oh, no, I agree with you on that. You can't beat Stephen A. Smith. You can't beat Stephen A. Smith. You can't. We'll have to have a look at that one more time. But let's just quickly do one more on the Adam Smith. I like to slow the Adam Smith one down, you know, to be honest. Where is it? Here we go. Let me just get it. Here you go. And then we'll just slow it down. I like to look at it in slow motion just so I can appreciate, yeah, the 4 minute of Adam Smith. And there's the respect. Here you go. Go. Beautiful stuff. Look at those elbows. Where are them elbows pointing? Fucking hell, those elbows are pointing at the fire exit. Beautiful stuff at them elbows. It's so funny how the woman before him, this woman here, is so much better than Adam Smith. Like, I'm not being funny. They should give her the gig on Sky Sports commentary. Someone tell me, why is Adam Smith commenting on pay-per-view and she's not? She's a better boxer than Adam Smith. Look! She's a far better boxer than Adam Smith is. Look at her form. She's throwing tight hooks. She's far better than Adam Smith. Far quicker punches, tighter punches. She got more power on the shots. Fair play. Let's have a look at the Smith man here. These ducks crack me. These two ducks. I mean, you've been watching professional boxing for the best part of 3 decades, and somebody asks you to roll under a punch, and you do this, and it looks like he's playing a game of musical chairs. What is he doing? You remember when he was playing musical chairs when you was a kid? It looks like he's playing a game of musical chairs for himself. What is he doing? And his elbows. Oh, and he's punching with the inside of his wrist, and his elbows are like, look at his elbows. Jesus Christ almighty. You can never beat that. I don't know what's worse, actually, that or the Stephen A. Smith one. Absolutely shocked. He's got a decent stance, though, to be fair. Look, he's got better footwork than Dillian White. Let's be honest. He can do a 45-degree turn without crossing his feet. So I have to be honest with you. He's got better feet than Dillian White. Maybe footwork's his strength. Look. The man's pivoting around the target without crossing his feet and falling over his shots. Maybe he needs to go out to Portugal and show Dillian White some footwork. Dillian could do that before he gets to the ring of Anthony Joshua. It is what it is. Yeah, Sean Medieval says, he's imagining himself as. I'm telling you, I'm just, as I said before, this is what happens when dudes off the internet who've never been in the gym get in the gym. This is what you see. I've seen it a million times. Dudes who come off the internet and get in the boxing gym and they've never boxed, this is what they look like. Literally. And in their head, like Sean from Medieval says, in your head, how you actually box and how you think you box is two different things. So when you see yourself on camera, you realize, oh my God, I am terrible. Like one of my ex-friends who's an amateur boxer says, seeing yourself on film is very humbling. He's an amateur boxer. And he said to me, it's true. He said, seeing yourself on film is very, very humbling because you think in your head that you're boxing one way and you think you're doing a certain thing and then you see yourself on film and then you realize you're not doing it at all. You guys want to see Stephen A. Smith on pads? Let's do it quickly. You guys want to see Stephen A. Smith on the pads? Where is it, man? Here we go. Stephen A. Smith on the pads. This goes for all the Ray. This is all the Ray Robinson avatar. What's the other one they got? Ray Robinson, Marvin Hagler. There must be one more. Hold on. Mike Tyson. What's the other one? Duran. Hold on. I'll show you this. Look. Shout out to all them dudes who think they know it all on Twitter about boxing. They turning up with profile pictures like this. Look. They rocking up with profile pictures like this. Look. Look, but I've got the four kings. I've got the four kings in my avatar. I know bare about boxing. I know loads about boxing. Look, I've got the four kings. My Twitter Abby's the four kings, though. My Twitter Abby's the four kings. It's like, okay, come to the gym then, and we'll do some pads. And this is the outcome of how it looks. Yeah, all right, yeah. What you know about boxing? I know bare in it. I've got the four kings in my avatar, and I watch loads of fights on TV. Okay, come gym then, we'll do some pads. This is what happens. This is what happens. And these guys be telling you, and these guys, before they do this, they be critiquing you and your boxing technique, You know these guys, innit? Yeah, I'm a historian. These guys, before they do this on the pads, they'll critique you. So what will happen is, he'll walk in with his little avatar, little YouTube boxing expert will walk into the gym with his little Four Kings avatar. He'll watch you shadow and spar. He'll walk over, legit, no joke, even though he's never boxed in his life. He'll walk over to you in the gym and he'll start giving you tips on how to box. He'll legit start giving you tips, He'll start telling you like what to do. Like, listen, mate, just give you a little tip in it. Why did it always come over and then lower their voice? Press 1 if you've been in the gym, you know what I'm talking about. Why do they always come in the gym and they start lowering their voice and shit? Because they know they're talking shit. They come over and they start lowering. Listen, mate, look, just you're really good, yeah, but just thought I'd tell you something, innit? Yeah, you might want to try this. You might want to try that, I watch a lot of boxing. I watch a lot, I've got my own pound for pound list and everything. I make my own pound for pound list and everything. I put them on Twitter. I make all my own pound for pound list. So I know a lot about boxing. Yeah, I watch a lot of it on TV. Yeah. Yeah, just like like Tyson. Yeah. Like Tyson used to do. It's always like Tyson used to do. Yeah. Yeah. Just move like this, and you just be standing there going, yeah. And then you see them on the pads, and then you see this every single fucking time without fail. Every single fucking time without fail. Every single time. Big up, Tony. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Yes. Stephen A. close to putting off the Fury self, but Stephen A. got trolled. off of this, but listen, it is what it is. Let's carry on. What does anybody else want to talk about anything else before we go? I can't get Twitter up, so I've lost my usual talking points. Is there anything else to talk about here? Listen, we topped out 100 views tonight, which is still twice as many as what's the Savannah Marshall versus Cruz press conference. So it is what it is. Look, Frank Warren's delusional. We all know that. Those pain meds are absolutely getting to him. There's no way that Dan Dubois is going to fight. He's going to beat Alexander Usyk. Dubois is a fucking moving punch bag. He couldn't beat. He struggled against Kevin Lorena, so he ain't beating Usyk. That's a brutal beatdown and stoppage waiting to happen. Billy Joe Saunders supposedly in camp. Who said this? Ben Davison, didn't he? Ben Davison. Is that correct? Be honest with you. I want to be honest with you. Press 7 if you're interested to see the return of Billy Joe Saunders, and press 8 if you don't care. Genuinely, like, I'm not trying to start nothing, but just while we're here, just tell me. Well, I'm just going to go and get some nourishment. Yeah, I'll be back in a sec. Yo, King, let's see if we can open the nourishment can properly without spinning all over our keyboard. Are you interested to see Billy Joe Saunders genuinely come back to the sport of boxing? Press 7 if you are. Press 8 if you're not. Daryl, if you want to, Daryl, if you want to come on, Tony, if you want to come on, you can come on, talk about whatever you want. Let me just go and get a can of nourishment and hit the like button. We're only doing 92 views at the minute, but look, it is what it is, isn't it? We're at the bargain bucket bottom. Let me get this can of nourishment. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, and I tried that bigger. I did try bigger, by the way. The fruit punch, it is good, by the way. So I did try bigger. For those of you banging on, telling me to stop drinking KA, drink bigger. I tried bigger. It's good. It's good. I'll get some more. 1 second. Right, can we open this can of nourishment without spilling it? Do you know what? I'm going to cheat and open it with my teeth, to be honest with you. Fuck it, Yoking. I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it today, Yoking. Oh, Jesus. Struggling, isn't it? Oh, actually, no, better job. Much better job. Vanilla, Yoking. Vanilla. I only go with vanilla, man. I don't eat banana-based products. And chocolate's terrible. Huh. My piss is going to be fluorescent yellow tonight. Right. Billy Joe Saunders. Sean doesn't give a shit. Richard doesn't give a shit. Grant doesn't give a shit. Yoking cares. Games You Love cares. Crazy D3 says 7. If there ain't going to be no Eubank rematch. Eubank's getting knocked out by Conor Benn. There ain't going to be no fucking Eubank rematch. Eubank's being cashed out and sent to his death, isn't he? Am I right or am I wrong about Chris Eubank Jr.? Is Chris Eubank Jr. not getting sent to his death against the man who failed 2 drugs tests against him? Chris Eubank Jr. coming out from a knockout loss is going to be sent in the ring, yeah? All weight drained to pieces to fight a man who's already failed multiple drugs tests. And that fight's going to be allowed to happen. Coming to a Dubai near you. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. We call that a public execution, innit? Do you know what they might as well do with Chris Eubank Jr.? In all honesty. I'm not being funny, yeah? But if they're going to do Conor Benn, yeah, versus Chris Eubank, yeah, out in the Middle East, right? If they're going to do Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank out in the Middle East, then with all due respect, we might as well just do it, go the full hog and do this, innit? We might as well just put Chris Eubank Jr. in an orange jumpsuit. And have Conor Benn behind him, all dressed in black with a fucking knife to his throat. Because we're doing, innit? We're sending Chris Eubank Jr. out to the Middle East, and we're sending him into a glorified execution, aren't we? Because we know he's weight trained to fuck. We know he's been knocked out brutally in his last fight and was gassed after 2 or 3 rounds. We know Chris Eubank Jr. is near the end, and we're putting him in with somebody who's failed multiple drugs tests within the last fucking XYZ months. And we're doing the fight allegedly in the Middle East because the British Boxing Board of Control aren't willing to sanction the fight, right? So, should we just call it what it is? It's glorified execution, isn't it? Am I right? Am I wrong, innit? Glorified execution. Might as well have it out in the desert and put Chris Eubank Jr. in an orange jumpsuit. And that's Conor Benn there standing over him there. Might as well, innit? Look, that is what it is. If people are going to pay pay-per-view for it, let's call it how it is. Call a spade a spade. That's what it is. Glorified execution, innit? How ironic, innit, that they're trying to sports wash away human rights records. And we send Conor Benn out there to execute Chris Eubank Jr. in the middle of the desert. That's cold, innit? They're spending all this money trying to sport wash, innit? They're spending all this money over here trying to sport wash. Meanwhile, we're sending people over there to be executed. Listen, I don't want to hear nobody ever complain, yeah, about human rights in the Middle East ever again, yeah? I don't want to hear it, man. We're just as bad, innit? I don't want to hear no more talk about human rights in the Middle East. We're just as bad, innit? We're sending our own over there to be executed. So what's the point, innit? Let's move on ASAP. We might as well, innit? Fight poster. Photoshop that up and get Eubank and Benn's face on it. You might as well. Speaking of Benn, Have you heard the latest with this absolute? Oh, Jesus Christ! It's so bad. You know, I thought about doing an episode on it, and I thought, well, fuck it. But have you heard Conor Benn's latest defense now? Have you ever known a man change story this many times? I've never known it. You know, how many times can this guy change story? It's absolutely unfucking believable, right? So he's come back now. He's found a brand new team. That's the red flag, isn't it? There you go. Hold on. Let's get him up here. Oh, I can't because they put it behind a paywall. But Conor Benn, yeah, is coming up now. He's got a brand new team, right? He's got a brand new team and he's got a brand new defense, it seems like, for the sake of it. So what we seem to be going to with Conor Benn is we seem to now no longer be blaming VADA. Have you noticed this now? So this is what I find so funny, right? I had conversations online with people who were telling me that Conor Benn was innocent because the VADA tests are wrong. They were saying that there was a conspiracy by VADA to contaminate his tests, or somehow, right? Somehow, despite the man giving up at least 4 different samples, somehow all of his samples managed to get contaminated with exactly the same substance in exactly the same lab at exactly the same time, etc., 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 right? For the last couple of months, we've been hearing stories about how VADA have got this wrong, right? VADA's testing is wrong. And that was Conor Benn's original defense. Do you remember when the WBC said that, look, we believe that Conor Benn, right, had got clomiphene in his system from excess consumption of eggs? Conor Benn came out and said, and he said, I never said that. He said that. And Eddie Hearn said that. That's not Conor Benn's defense. That's not my defense. We are not using eggs as an excuse, right? And it's believed that the 500-page dossier that Conor Benn tried to stop the British Boxing Board of Control for seeing for the best part of a year, allegedly, lawyers, if you're listening, the defense was that there was some kind of corruption in the VADA testing, that VADA didn't look after the samples properly, and somehow the samples got contaminated, and that was the problem. We've got breaking news here. We've got breaking news coming through. This breaking news is going to piss a lot of people off, but we'll have to change it because it's going to happen. We knew it's going to happen anyway. But Eddie Hearn has spilled the beans on Tyson Fury's latest opponent. Guess who you think it is before I put the title in? He's going to get heat for it, but to be honest with you, from a monetary perspective and for raising his profile, I don't see how this doesn't make sense. But you let me know if you think I'm wrong about this. So I'm just changing the title in reference to some breaking news that's coming on the internet now. So according to Eddie Hearn, he has heard Tyson Fury's next opponent is going to be Francis Ngannou in the next exhibition match, which I think we all knew that was going to be it, right? Let's just get that on. You give me your thoughts. Give me a sec, yeah? Just changing the title. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm going to say, have your say. And we'll come back on this in a sec, but have your say. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou exhibition is on. What do you think? Good or bad? Good or bad? Be interesting to get some views on that. There you go. Title of the stream has changed. So, what the fuck? Oh, I need to change it in fucking YouTube. Just give me a sec. Sorry about this. I need to change it in YouTube. Get the stench of Savannah Marshall off my here we go, and bosh. There you go. So exhibition. And I've started by spelling Ngannou wrong in the chat. So like I said before, we are doing very, very well, aren't we? There you go. I've started by spelling fucking, I can't even spell Francis Ngannou. So there you go. Joke's on me that I've been sitting here, you know, like I've picked up Isaac Lowe's keyboard. Give me a sec. It'll be worth it once I get to it. I think I spelled it right this time. Okie dokie. Righty ho. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury is on in an exhibition fight. So it looks like if that's the case, then Fury's undisputed record won't be on the line. Bad if the WBC belt. I don't think the WBC belt will be on the line because it's an exhibition, but I'm sure they'll make some kind of fake title for it. I'm sure they'll make up some kind of fake title. Yeah, this is legit. This has just come from on Twitter. It's been reported by you know who, whose Twitter I can't get to at the minute because Twitter are being absolute you know what's. But it's been reported by Michael Benson 6 minutes ago, and it's coming from Boxing Social, and it's Fury versus Ngannou. Let me see if we can find the Boxing Social video. I'm just trying to find it. But there you go. We'll find that imminently. So, an exhibition match. Now, Frank Warren met with the WBC, last week or something, didn't he? Is that right? Frank Warren met with the WBC, and somehow the WBC didn't call him mandatory for Tyson Fury. So, now you know the reason why. No mandatory called. As far as I'm aware, it is what it is. Yeah, I would love to get this up, but I can't. But yeah, because I can't get Twitter up. But yeah, it is on. Eddie Hearn has said that he's heard that Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou is going to happen next as an ex. And of course, that's what it is. Hearn desperate to spoil Frank's announcement. Get your views in. Tony says it's a money fight. He wanted 500 mil and he's about to get it. Well, are you sure Fury's going to make money versus Ngannou, Tony? Are you sure? Because the pay-per-view experts on Twitter keep telling me that Usyk's a massive draw. And that Usyk should be getting 50-50 with Tyson Fury. That's what they tell me. I don't get involved in these pay-per-view splits. I don't get involved in these pay-per-view splits, Tony. But the experts, the guys who make videos on their mum's laptop, in their bungalows, they know all about millions of big money fights. They know everything about big money fights, and they keep telling me that Alexander Usyk deserves 50-50 with Tyson Fury because he's a big money draw. So I don't know, Tony. I'm asking you, Tony. I'm calling you out, Tony. Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk in the middle of Poland. Yeah, Usyk's going to get 6 million for that fight. Do you think Fury will make? Big money to fight the UFC champion in an exhibition? Do you think anybody will bother watching that, Tony? What do you think? What do you think? Let me know. Chris H says there ain't big money in this fight. Not that I'm an expert. You don't think there's big money in the Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury fight? Okay. Games You Love says UFC is massive ultra. Tony says the WBC can't call a Mando for Fury. Wilder and Ruiz have to fight first. At the moment, Fury doesn't have a Mando. Correct. Francis versus Fury makes more money than any fight in. I disagree with you, Tony. Tony, they told me the guys that make their own pound for pound lists. Tony, I know you've had 30 or 40 fights in the amateurs. You forget that, Tony. You don't know nothing about boxing. I'm talking about the guys who have never, ever been in a ring, Tony, but they watch a hell of a lot of boxing on YouTube and they make their own pound for pound lists. They know more about boxing than you. They've told me that Usyk is a 50-50 fight, with Tyson Fury. The purse should be a 50-50 split. Because of the belts, Tony. Do you not understand how boxing works, Tony? Whoever has the most belts, gets the most money. That's how boxing works. If you've got 3 belts and I've got 1 belt, you should get 3 times as much money as I get. That's how it works, Tony. So I don't care how many fights you've had. You've got it wrong. These guys, right? These guys on the internet, right? They've got it right, Tony. That fight, that Ngannou versus Fury fight ain't making no money. They'll be lucky to sell out the arena with comp tickets, right? Boxing pound for pound, Jack. Fun fight. Eddie can't slate this fight because the Zone will be co-promoting this fight. Are they? Could be interesting. Rory Tabori says it will be popular. Being stupid doesn't matter. Look, what do you guys think? I don't know. Look, it's for me, like I said before, will I watch it? Absolutely. Would I pay for it? No. Can I ask you, can you guys get a poll up here? Would you guys pay for this? I'm being real. Would you guys pay for it? Dave MCS says, where's Triple D? Genuine question. Right now, Daniel Dubois is at Barry McGuigan's house. And Barry McGuigan's put him in handcuffs so he doesn't eat the crayons when he's unsupervised. That's where Daniel Dubois is right now. I hope I've answered your question then, Dave, about where Triple D is. Getting back to Fury versus Ngannou. Let's get a poll up. Let's get a poll up. Let's start a poll. All right. Would you buy Fury versus... I'm not going to be able to spell Ngannou properly. I'm from the West Indies, so it's okay. I'm not from those sides. I'm from the West Indies, so it's okay for me to spell those kind of names wrong. Would you buy Fury versus Ngannou on pay-per-view? And what do you think about that fight? Do you think it's as bad as the YouTube boxing we've seen? What do you think about it compared to some of the crap that we've seen this year? What kind of crap we've seen? KSI versus Joe Fournier. KSI versus Joe Fournier, that's nonsense. That was a terrible fight. But that did some viewership, didn't it? Like, isn't KSI the biggest draw on DAZN, right? KSI is like the biggest draw on DAZN, right? I'm pretty sure he's huge. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to give you my honest opinion now without taking the piss, right? My honest opinion is it the fight I want to see Fury in? No. Is it a fight that I would pay for? No. Is it a fight that I'll watch at a friend's house? Yes, I would. Is it a fight that I think, if it happens, will absolutely captivate people? Yes, I do. I think it will be huge, to be honest. I think it'll be, if that fight happens, exhibition or no exhibition, it will be. I'm not saying it'll be big as Mayweather and McGregor, obviously not, which wasn't an exhibition, right? It was actually a legitimate fight, but you would think that Ngannou and Fury could be potentially huge. Depends what kind of fight it is. Depends what kind of exhibition it is. Is it going to be an exhibition where they're actually going out to take each other out? If it's one of them exhibitions where they're actually going to take each other out, it could be a genuine fight. Do you know what? Do you remember when Triller did those fights a couple of years ago? Do you remember when Triller did Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones? Listen, a fucking 50-year-old Roy Jones versus a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. Triller was still pulling in people to watch that fight. Do you remember that? Mike Tyson. And you know what? It could take place in a cage. Maybe they'll do some kind of hybrid rule thing where it will be in a cage, but there's no kicking or there's no stand-up. There's only stand-up. It'll be some gimmicked up bollocks, won't it? What do you think? Do you think they'll do some gimmicked up bullshit where it might be in a cage? It's basically boxing in a cage, basically. It's in a cage, but no kicks, no takedowns type deal. Depends how far they want to take it. But if they market it the right way, there's a lot of money to be made there. There's a lot of money to be made. I think what this does for Fury, to be honest with you, is this, right? I think if Fury was to take the fight of Ngannou, and I think if the fight was to make a lot of money, then I think that it's going to make negotiations very, very difficult for Alexander Usyk the second time around. Press one if you agree with me on that, and press two if you disagree with me on that. Press one if you agree with me on that, and press two if you disagree. If Fury versus Ngannou was to happen, and the fight was to be a big commercial success, right, and it was to make millions of pounds, right, and lots of people were to buy it on pay-per-view, whatever, right, I think it would make it very, very, very hard, almost near impossible, for Alexander Usyk to turn around and say, I want 50-50. That's my opinion. I think that's the real reason why that's the fight that's going to happen. That's why I think the fight will happen. And that's what I think the long-term plan is. But we'll see. But I think if the fight does very, very well commercially, then I don't think there can be any argument about who gets what split. Does that make sense? And so that entire conversation is about to go out of the window, in my opinion. Tony says, Francis is a big dude who knows how to wrestle with a big punch. He has a chance within the first 2 rounds. After that, he's food. After this fight, Usyk will be offered 10% after this flop with DDD, with Triple D. What do you guys think about this? Fury versus Ngannou and Usyk versus Dubois. Obviously, Usyk's fighting the more legit opponent. Usyk's fighting a boxer for world titles, right? He's not fighting an exhibition. Usyk's doing the right thing. He's fighting as mandatory. I'm just talking from a commercial perspective here. Do you think that if Usyk fights Daniel Dubois for $6 million and Tyson Fury makes ridiculous money to go and fight Francis Ngannou, and that fight's a commercial success, do you think that we might be having a conversation in a year's time saying, should Usyk have taken that 30%? Yes or no? What do you think? What do you think? I'm just throwing conversation points out there. Don't start jumping in my chat saying I'm biased. I'm just throwing out conversation points. We're trying to find the boxing social video where Eddie's saying this. Because the impression I get is that if he does, oh Jesus, you can tell it's definitely going to happen. Because look, you've got Shane Watson here, who now works for SJam, who used to have a YouTube channel which I could get up right now for the lols, but I won't because he's a right guy. But this guy used to have a YouTube channel, you know, Shane Watson. Do you remember Shane Watson used to have a YouTube channel? He used to do the same thing I was doing. Him and his mate. He used to have a YouTube channel, wasn't it? Before he got into boxing. Anyway, he's saying Ngannou loses the Southern Area heavyweight. So you can now see, can you see? They're doing the whole fucking Sunday sermon on this. So it is what it is. Eddie Hearn goes off on Frank Warren. Fury Ngannou next. There you go. So Eddie Hearn, they're spilling the beans. They're just trying to get the jump there on that announcement there, so that they can't announce it there. But that typical bitterness as usual from you know who. Let's have a look at the comments. There you go. Told you. Eddie's getting bitter like the rest of the promoters, and he's only in his early 40s. Is what it is. There you go. Let's have a look. Tony's saying Fury broke all records in Vegas with Wilder. He then goes on to break the British records with White. Now he's going to break the... Do you really think so? Now he's going to break the pay-per-view records. Usyk will be lucky to get 10% if they offer him 7.5%. What do you guys think about that? If Fury versus Ngannou is a massive commercial success, and Usyk ends up fighting Dubois for $6 million in fucking middle of Poland, and the two of them go into negotiations to have a fight for undisputed, do you think Usyk's going to get offered 40%? I don't know. Mark Remington says it won't be. You don't think it'll be a commercial success, Mark? Okay. It could happen. Mark Remington saying Ngannou won't win anything, so the fight is worth nothing. Do you think Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou is worth nothing? Okay. That's interesting. I'm not sure about that. I think some people tune in just to see the spectacle. You know how people paid the zone money to go and see KSI box Joe Fournier, or how people paid to see a 50-year-old Mike Tyson box an exhibition with Roy Jones Jr., right? We know YouTube boxing does very, very well at the minute. That's the reason why it's taken over the DAZN schedule. Am I lying or am I not lying? There's a reason why YouTube boxing is, and all this Misfits crap, is taking over the DAZN schedule. It's taking it over for a reason, because it draws. That Misfits boxing draws money. You're talking about a guy who is the legitimate UFC heavyweight champion. He's still got he's the champion. Like, okay, he's not in the UFC anymore. Nobody's taking the belt off him. He's the fucking champion. You telling me that MMA fans ain't going to cross over and just watch it, just to peek at it? Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the fight happens. And you could be right, Mark. I think, Mark, it depends on what is the fight. Is this a real fight? Does that make sense? Is this a fight, basically? Is this a real fight that's been marketed as an exhibition so both of these guys can keep their records and keep making money? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? There's a difference between exhibitions and exhibitions. Like, what kind of exhibition are we getting? Are we getting Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, where Floyd's kind of going for it? Or are we getting Floyd Mayweather versus Deji, when he's in the ring, sort of, you know, when Floyd was spinning around the ring like a ballerina, talking to people in between rounds and just generally just, you know, fucking around, coming to the ring in a fucking, you know, mask and stuff, saying I'm robbing everybody, or I'm robbing, you know what I'm talking about. What are we getting here? Are we getting Mayweather actually throwing punches to hurt somebody in a proper exhibition, or are we getting Mayweather versus Deji? Like, what kind of exhibition are we actually fucking getting? Tony's saying, I'm right. I'm not sure about that though, Tony. It could be a hybrid match. 1 round boxing, 1 round MMA, and so on. I don't think Fury will risk it because he's got absolutely no chance in that. I can tell you that for a fucking fact. He has got no chance. But I agree with you on this, Tony. I think this is what it could be. It could be boxing with MMA gloves. I think I could be, Tony, you know. I genuinely think it could. I think, Tony, it could be that and a cage. So I think basically we will be boxing, but I think you're right. They'll gimmick a cage instead of a ring, and they may put MMA gloves on. I agree. I think they will gimmick it up a bit. Exactly. Sean at Medieval. Is it a Floyd exhibition or is it a hat? And it depends on what kind of exhibition it is. Yeah, and the Fury's got no chance in the MMA rules. Any kind of MMA rules, it ain't gonna happen. Forget about that. It ain't gonna happen. Let's have a look. Ngannou will get sparked with MMA gloves. Let's have a look here. Richard says you're going to have all of the YouTube, Twitch, TikTok influencers talking about Fury versus Ngannou. Reckon it will be pretty massive. Boxing Madness agrees with Tony. He has said, I agree. I think it's boxing in a cage with MMA gloves. Boxing pound for pound, Jack says, in MMA gloves, Francis might KO Fury and that will be mega money. Get a rematch clause in. Get a rematch clause in. Do it again for another 200 million. Why not? If Fury gets knocked out by Ngannou and they stick a rematch clause in there, do you know how much fucking money that will generate? Can you imagine that if Ngannou knocked out Fury, right? And there was a rematch clause. Ngannou knocked him out in an exhibition, then there was a rematch clause. They'd be like fucking printing money. You got the fucking heavyweight champion of boxing in a fight with a heavyweight champion of UFC. Jesus fucking Christ. It's just like, so that would be a license to print money, in my opinion. Theme says, where is Manuel Char? Well, Manuel Char still asking for that fight, isn't he? Where is Manuel Char? Manuel Char still asking for that fight with Fury, isn't he? I'm trying to find that thing. Manuel Char still talking about Anthony Pussiwa. Remember that one, Char? Anthony Pussiwa. I am calling you out, Pussiwa. That's where Manuel Char is. Calling out Anthony Pussiwa. I can't find the video of fucking Char, you know. I'm trying to find it. Fury. First you say you want to fight. Now you are like duck. Someone send me the link to that video. Where's Char? Char's in my... Talk about those guys who make their own pound. I'll put Char in my pound for pound list. To go out and making your own pound for pound list. Manuel Char would be in my pound for pound list. Tony says, can Francis survive 5 minutes of boxing? Fury could beat him down so badly that if it makes it to round 2... I'll tell you this now. Any kind of MMA rules in that fight and Tyson Fury's getting submitted, in my opinion. Any kind of MMA rules in that fight and Tyson Fury's getting flattened. You know what? It'd be nice to go on Twitter and actually see the reaction to it, but we can't. But let's go back to that video and let's just see what the comment section is saying about this fight. Let's see what the boxing social comment section is quickly saying about Fury versus Ngannou. Let's have a look. Fury versus Ngannou is huge. Let's have a look here. Eddie just had to throw in the Fury comment to get the Benson plug. Embarrassing. I would hope Fury versus Ngannou is an exhibition. No competent board should sanction a fight between the best heavyweight in the world against a guy making his pro debut. This guy says the fight shouldn't even be happening. Do you think there's a safety risk for Ngannou? If it's full boxing rules, what do you guys think about that fight? If that fight is full boxing rules in a ring with gloves on, blah, 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 do you think there's a risk to Ngannou's health if that fight goes ahead? But Fury's known to muck about with his opponents, you know. Do you remember when Fury had his comeback fight against Sefer Fury? He mucked about and took the money, didn't he? Do you remember that? He completely mucked about, right? Didn't want to finish him and took the money. Do you remember that? Fury wasn't really interested in hurting him that night, was he? So, you know, Fury, if anybody can take a night off, muck around, yeah, and make a few million to do so, it will be Fury. Let's have a look here. Tyson Fury, the biggest fat letdown of the century, exhibition fight. He's going to sell out. He's a sellout, gone rogue, no champion, but a fraud, and his thick fans can't see it. Frank Warren should be barred from promoting Usyk. Typical Matchroom. You know it's Matchroom when they're spelling Usyk like this, isn't it? Typical Matchroom. Usyk is the real winner. We all know Tyson, the chicken who bottled it. Fair enough. Fair comment. There you go, before. Seems like this is a real bitter interview, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Anybody talking about Dalton Smith's going to get a ban, by the way. We ain't talking about Dalton Smith. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so those are the comments, really. People just commenting on how bitter Eddie Hearn is, really. I wonder if Anthony Joshua was to fight Francis Ngannou. Do you think that would be a mega fight? Because I'm just saying, innit, like I said before, I remember when Billy Joe fought on KSI's undercard. I keep saying it, but Billy Joe Saunders defended a world title on the zone on the undercard of KSI and Logan Paul. Remember this? And Eddie Hearn said this was a masterclass in promotion, right? Remember this one here? They had a world champion, Billy Joe Saunders. He defended his title on the undercard of KSI and Logan Paul. He undercarded to two YouTubers, Billy Joe Saunders. And people like me said, well, that's pretty disrespectful that, you know, a professional boxer or world champion is undercarding to two fucking YouTubers. And Eddie Hearn at the time assured us that this was a fucking promotional masterclass because it was going to expose Billy Joe Saunders to a whole new audience. Remember, it's a whole new audience of young boxing fans who are going to be big fans of Billy Joe Saunders. Do you remember this bullshit, right? Remember this guff, right? Of course, Billy Joe Saunders is now semi-retired and no one cares, right? So that proved to be bullshit. But do you remember that? Eddie Hearn stuck a world champion on the undercard of KSI and Logan Paul and said it was a promotional masterclass. That's what people said. So I'm keen to see if sticking Billy Joe Saunders on the undercard of KSI and Logan Paul is some kind of promotional masterclass that's going to get him massive exposure, then I'm interested to see how he's going to criticize Tyson Fury having an exhibition with the fucking UFC champion. What do you think? If you think I'm wrong, press 1. So if you think I'm right, press 1. If you think I'm wrong, press 2. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm interested in if Eddie Hearn does criticize this Ngannou fight, I'm going to be interested to hear his criticisms, given that he's allowed world champion boxers to undercard to fucking YouTubers on the basis that it doesn't matter because the exposure they're going to get is huge. So if Billy Joe Saunders can undercard for KSI and Logan Paul, why can't Tyson Fury top the bill against the UFC champion in an exhibition match and increases exposure? Daryl says, if the fighters get paid well on the undercard of Misfits, isn't that okay? And justify their means. Yeah. I'm just saying, you know. I'm just saying. Theme says, ultra heavyweight boxing is so dead. No, it's not at all. We're just going through a lull. There's all this money that's happening in Saudi Arabia and fighters are just waiting for the money. These fights will happen. It's like with fucking Spence and Crawford. People were getting their panties in a twist for years and months. Errol Spence is afraid of Terence Crawford. Errol Spence is ducking. I've always said, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford will fight. This is the history of boxing. Most of these big fights do happen. They just happen when they're not supposed to happen. We had to wait fucking 5, 6, 7 years for Floyd versus Pacquiao, right? We had to wait 5, 6, 7, 10 years to watch Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. These fights do tend to happen. They just tend to happen when we don't want to see them. And it's normally money and networks and promoters that are the cause of these fights not happening, not the fighters. These fights will happen. I'm pretty sure. If Fury doesn't get knocked out beforehand, you'll see him getting in a ring with Alexander Usyk. You will see it happen. You will see Fury and Usyk getting in a ring and fight. Unless one of them gets beat. Yeah, exactly, Ice Meister. Conor versus Brook. That fight was built for 10 years, and then we finally got the fight. In boxing, we do tend to get the fights, but we have to wait for them. The problem is people on the internet don't want to wait, right? So what they want to do is they want to now turn around and start calling people who go and fight for a living cowards when they ain't man enough to jump in the ring themselves. It's always the same story. They ain't man enough to jump in the ring themselves, but they want to go on the internet and start calling professional fighters cowards. But we know the fights will happen. And, you know, and Crawford and Spence is happening, and that's living proof of it. I think these fights will happen. I just think there's going to be a big hold up in the heavyweight division basically until the end of the year because people are waiting to see what money is available from Saudi Arabia and or how much money can we get. And fighters and promoters aren't going to be keen to risk, yeah? Let's be honest with you. Nobody wants to risk a fucking £200 million payday against Deontay Wilder by getting in the ring with fucking Dillian Penguin Feet White. Am I right or wrong about that? Let's be honest. Come on. If you've got a potential 200 million, 100 million payday, right? If you've got 120 million payday, right? Waiting for you in December against fucking Deontay Wilder, right? Possibly in December, January. Would you be in a rush to jump in the middle of the O2 with Dillian Penguin Feet White on fucking DAZN? Let's just tell it how it is. Would you be in a hurry to do that? Anthony Joshua barely sold out the O2 Arena against Jermaine fucking Franklin. Do you guys not remember? Tickets were available like right up to the beginning. When has that ever happened for an Anthony Joshua fight? Tickets were available right up to the end of the fight. Right up until the end of the fight. So, I just think fighters are waiting. Mark Remington. So why isn't Fury fighting in Saudi? Probably because he's delusional when it comes to his own self-worth, isn't it? Maybe Tyson Fury's delusional about how much money he's actually worth, and he thinks he's worth more money than what they're offering. But I don't think they're scared, and I think the fights will happen. And how can Fury be holding up? Fury ain't the reason why Anthony Joshua ain't fighting. Does that make sense? How many fights has Anthony Joshua had in the last year or two? That ain't nothing to do with Tyson Fury, right? That ain't nothing to do with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury ain't the reason why Anthony Joshua might not fight until fucking 2024. That's got nothing to do with Tyson Fury. Or does it have something to do with it, and I'm wrong? Am I wrong about that? Do you know what I mean? So there's obviously something going on, isn't it? Because it's not just Fury, is it? It's not just Fury who's not fighting. There's talks of AJ not fighting until 2024, potentially. AJ himself said in a statement that he wasn't going to be fighting for the rest of the year. That's what he said in his statement. He said he won't be fighting until next year. So there's something going on, isn't there? Unless you think Fury's the reason why AJ might not fight until 2024. Makes sense. There's obviously something going on. I could be wrong. I'm just thinking people might be waiting for these big paydays, isn't it? There's potential paydays. There's nothing concrete, but I think people are in talks and there's potential things going on, aren't there? And so I think people are quite keen to wait and see what's going on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and Fury's a coward. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe I've got it wrong and Tyson Fury's running from Alexander Usyk. Maybe that's what it... Maybe I've got it wrong. Fury's running from Usyk because he's scared. But that don't stop Anthony Joshua fighting. So why is he not fighting? Why is he not in a hurry to get in the ring? Because he ain't in a hurry to get in the ring. That much I can tell you. He ain't in a hurry right now to get back in the ring. Anthony Joshua ain't fucking blowing up the phone trying to get a fight date. Sorry to tell you that, but I'm just going to tell you now. Anthony Joshua's not blowing up Eddie Hearn's phone saying, get me out. When can you get me out, Eddie? Anthony Joshua is not blowing up Eddie Hearn's phone begging for a fight date. That I can fucking tell you right now. Don't worry about that. So, like I said before, it is what it is. Games You Love says the Saudi schedule is the reason. Look, like I said before, I think some of it is definitely down to that. I could be wrong, but I could be wrong. Tony says, let's be honest at the moment. Wilder is the only one trying to make a real fight. He's begging Ruiz to get in the ring with him. How boxing is 180. Look, even Andy Ruiz, Tony's asking for crazy money. Am I right or am I wrong? Andy Ruiz is asking for a 50-50 with Deontay Wilder. Am I right or am I wrong about that? Andy Ruiz is asking for a 50-50 with Deontay Wilder. And that's a fact. Like, I think his dad came out and said it. Yeah, his father. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Boxing News 24/7. Andy Ruiz is asking for a fucking 50-50 split. His dad literally came out and said it. Wilder wants to offer Andy around 30%. It's not good money. Where's the bit about 50-50? Look. This is Andy Ruiz's dad now. We want 50-50 because Wilder is no longer a champion, said Ruiz Sr. They are not offering a fair split. The only thing we are asking is a 50-50 split. We are not asking anything else. 50-50, and we are ready to fight Wilder and give him a good beating. Shit, you not. So, what can you say? Is Tyson Fury the one holding up Wilder and Ruiz? Or is it money? Seems to be going around all around the division. What do you think, guys? Do you think I'm right about that or wrong about that? Seems to be something that's going on all around boxing at the minute. And I wonder if people are hearing about some of the potential purses that are getting whispered about and thinking, fuck, if you want me to get in the ring, I want some money. Do what you guys think? I could be wrong. But I wonder if some of these fighters and their managers, they're hearing some of these rumored purses that could be getting handed out in 2024. And they're saying, fuck me. Now, if I'm going to get in the ring now, right, and risk my O, right, you're going to have to pay me because there's some potential big money coming around the fucking corner. Oh, no, I could be wrong. Could be wrong about that. Mark Remington, Matchroom hater much. So you've run out of arguments now, right? So you're pretty much done now, yeah? You done now, Mark? Take care and thanks for coming. Appreciate it, my brother. Take care of yourself. Pipe and slippers and a Horlicks. And go easy on the night nurse, mate. And have a good snooze, mate. Have a good snooze. Let's have a look here. Let's finish up here. Simon H says, Wilder versus Ruiz has been ordered since the beginning of the year. Can't praise Wilder for finally getting around to it. It is what it is. I'm not here to make excuses, man. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm just telling you what I think it is. I don't think any of these guys are scared of each other. I just think it's money. Money's a big problem in the division. Does anybody want to ramble on about anything else before we call it a day with this? Here we go. This is interesting. So here's the official. This is Talk Sport. Here it is. No knockdowns. What is this? Let's have a read of this. So, Fury versus Ngannou. This is it. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, rumored to be next as an exhibition fight with no knockdowns. Jesus, Eddie Hearn's really let the cat out of the bag, isn't he? What do you mean no knockdowns? It will be an exhibition, apparently. No knockdowns or anything. Mate, I ain't paying for that shit. Hey, remember what I said about this fight drawing money? What do you guys think? What is this shit? It's going to be a clown show, isn't it? I don't know. I'm only telling you what I've heard. Yeah, well, Eddie Hearn also heard that, you know, Conor Benn ate too many eggs. So take what he says with a pinch of salt. There you go. Look. Clown. This is Eddie Hearn, isn't he? Look. I don't know. I'm only telling you what I've heard. Who knows what's what? But I think that's apparently what is going to be the next fight. Disappointing, but it is what it is. Can I ask you guys a genuine question? Yeah, Tony, exactly. What does no knockdowns mean? Does that mean that you can batter someone when they hit the canvas like MMA? How can you, if two people get in a fight and throw punches, how can you say no knockdowns? You can't. Anybody who's been in the ring will tell you that. If two people go in the ring and throw punches, right? You can't guarantee no one's going to get knocked down, can you? It can happen at any time, and it can be off a slip. It can be off balance. Doesn't even have to be a shot that hurts. It could be anything. But how can you have a fight of any kind, even an exhibition, and say no knockdowns? Have you ever seen any exhibition? I'm trying to think now. Out of all the exhibitions we've seen, think about Hatton versus Barrera and all these exhibitions. Have you guys ever seen any exhibition fight where it's been stated that there are quote unquote no knockdowns? Have you ever heard of that before? Ever in the history of these exhibition fights? I've never heard of that before. I don't know how you can have that as a clause. Makes no sense. Exactly, Milan. I need to hear more about that. But anyway, what do you guys think about Eddie Hearn there? It's always what he's tried to do there, isn't he? He's obviously tried to ruin Fury's quote unquote big announcement, right? And tried to turn people against him there. What do you think? I'm only telling you what I've heard. Can I ask you a question before I go? Genuine question. If Eddie Hearn was the promoter of Tyson Fury and there was an opportunity for him to make a fight with Francis Ngannou on the zone, press 1 if you think Eddie Hearn would make that fight, and press 2 if you think he wouldn't make that fight. So Eddie Hearn is saying he's disappointed in Fury potentially fighting Ngannou in an exhibition. If Tyson Fury was or let's say this way, if Ngannou and Fury approached the zone, or I'll keep it 100% simple. If Eddie Hearn was the promoter of Tyson Fury and he had the opportunity to make that fight on the zone, do you think disappointing is one of the adjectives that he would use? Or do you think he'd be on the zone talking about it's a monster fight? What do you think? Because when you hear him talk about these misfits fights, he hypes them up, doesn't he? I can't find the videos right now, innit? But when Eddie Hearn's talking about all these big, like, these YouTube fights, he said like they're big fights, aren't they? He said that they're big fights. But all of a sudden now, when it's Ngannou versus Fury, it's disappointing, isn't it? He loves it, doesn't he? Look. Eddie Hearn praises... Look at this, look. Eddie Hearn praises Salt Pappy and Misfits Boxing. So you're praising Misfits Boxing. Eddie Hearn praises Salt Pappy and Misfits Boxing. Eddie Hearn gives his thoughts on Misfits. Listen, they're putting on fucking tag team boxing. Am I lying? Am I not lying? On the zone. Are they not putting on tag team boxing on the zone? Yes or no? Tag team boxing. 4 of them in the ring at the fucking same time. They're putting on tag team boxing on the zone. Tag team boxing is on the zone right now. Tag team boxing. But he's saying Fury and Ngannou is a disappointment. Okay. Maybe I got that wrong. But I think if he was promoting it, it'd be a different story. Ice Meister says if Hearn was promoting this, it'd be the Zone pay-per-view with him front and center. Are you crazy? It would be the Zone pay-per-view and Eddie Hearn would be front and center at all the press conferences. At all the press conferences, he would be front and center, and that's a fact of life. He would be absolutely front and center at it. There you go, just like this. Just like he was for KSI and Logan Paul. He'd be right in the middle, front and center, telling you it's going to be a super fight. Oh, dear. Vanguards of Manhood says, Hearn put on Dave Allen versus David Price, for fuck's sake. Oh, dear. Yo King. Eddie would say it's a groundbreaking fight. John Diddler says, Eddie, greatest bit of promotional work so far has to be his GQ photo shoot. Richard says he'll be talking Ngannou down because he wants to try and suck up to the slaphead at the UFC as well. Yeah, he is no longer with the UFC, correct. Blah, 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 blah. Game changed. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, he'd be absolutely front and center. So there you go. Look, good bit of breaking news there. Fury and Ngannou looks like it's on. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not particularly hyped about it. You know, I'm quite hyped to see what the rules are going to be, because the rules will determine how popular and how well the fight will do. If it's bullshit, no knockdowns, they can't hurt each other, just it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time anyway. I wouldn't pay for it anyway, regardless. I wouldn't pay for that fight, right? But look, it's got that kind of X factor, hasn't it? You know, and it is what it is. And then hopefully the second half of the year, we have to start seeing some proper fights. The only main thing I take away from this is I still think that Fury and Usyk will happen if they both win their next fights. I think it will happen next year. But I'm just interested to see how the negotiations will go next time. Because one man could be on the verge of a super fight and the other man could be on the verge of earning good money, but, you know, there's a big difference between fighting Francis Ngannou on a pay-to-watch and fighting Daniel Dubois, yeah, on, you know, ITV Poland or whatever it is. Dave McKesk, Big Fraser versus David Adele. Who have you got? It wouldn't be surprised, but surprise me if Adele had enough, you know. Adele's a dog. I don't think any of them beat Fabio Wardley right now. It is what it is. Games You Love says Hearn flew out for talks with Francis about fighting AJ. Wasn't calling him. Was he now? Was he now? If anybody can get me a link to that, I'd love to see that. If anybody can get me a link to that, I'd love to see that. Oh, that train is never late. There we go. Didn't take long, did it? There you go. That train is never late. It's like Thomas the fucking Tank Engine, isn't it? That train is never late. Let's get the fucking clown music on. You know, it is what it is. But according to Mark, I'm a hater. Oh, it is what it is, isn't it? Let's get a fucking music on. Hold on a minute. All right, press the van. Hear the music we've got here. So let's have a look. So Eddie Hearn saying he's just disappointed that Tyson Fury was fighting he's on Fight Hub saying that Anthony Joshua was a possible opponent for Francis Ngannou. So when it's Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou, yeah, he's saying he thinks it's disappointing. Disappointing, but it is what it is. But 5 months ago, yeah, when AJ was a potential opponent, all of a sudden, then it was a different fucking story, wasn't it? It was a different story. Oh dear, it is what it is. That train is just never ever. Oh, there's another one. AJ would fight with Ngannou. Hearn gives bold update on Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou talks. Jesus Christ almighty. Do you know what it is with this guy, you know? I sometimes do think that some of the Just for Men from his hairpiece is beginning to seep through the fucking follicles in his fake hair and beginning to get through to his brain, you know, because genuinely, like, this guy can't keep up with, like, what he said, like, fucking, like, 3 months ago. How many weeks in a month? I mean, this guy can't keep up with what he said 12 weeks ago. That's a problem, you know. He should go doctors and get checked out, I reckon. Do you not think? Not being funny, but how can you say one thing and then 12 weeks later not realise that what you're saying today completely fucking contradicted what you said 12 weeks ago. We're not talking about fucking 12 years. We're talking about 12 fucking weeks. 12 weeks ago, he's saying AJ will fight Francis and Ngannou. 12 weeks later, he's saying when he fights Fury, it's a disappointing fight. I mean, someone does need to have a little bit of a chat with him, don't you? He needs to stop drinking what Barry's drinking. Whatever Barry's drinking, Eddie, don't drink it. All right, Eddie? Whatever Barry's drinking, don't drink it, all right? Don't be rumbling Barry's stash or something. Lord knows what's in there. I know it says fucking Stella Artois on the label, but I can assure you it's stronger. I mean, it's embarrassing, isn't it? Man contradicted himself 4 weeks ago. He contradicted himself. Do you know what I mean? Nobody will ask him as well. He hops on with his mate Charlie Parsons. No comment. Yeah, they can say, but Eddie, you know you're saying you're disappointed that Fury's going to fight Ngannou. What about the videos that you did for like 12 weeks ago saying that AJ would fight him? What about them videos? What about them videos from fucking 3-4 months ago? And it's a bit like this one, my all-time favourite. Has anybody asked him about this one yet? You guys were telling me that Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford's happening, but I thought Showtime's out of business. Remember this one? But Showtime going out of business. Look, here you go. It could be out of business 12 months. 4 years ago. Do you guys not know this? You're saying that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's on. Errol Spence, Showtime were out of business 4 years ago. Eddie Hearn told me. Right here. There you go. Eddie Hearn told me. 4 years ago. Showtime going to be out of boxing in 12 months. 4 years later, they're putting on Spence and Crawford. Look, it is what it is, isn't it? Oh, it is what it is. All right, guys, let's call it a day. Look after yourselves and each other.